my whole life in the real estate industry. Been doing it for 28 years. I've watched him train a lot of agents over the years. Take some agents who have just gotten into the business, who are lost, who don't know where they're going, and I've watched them turn them into beasts. You know, he's done so much to help others, and at this point in his career, that's what he likes doing. He loves helping people like you guys. So, hey, let's everybody get up for a second, and I want you all to look at the person next to you, meet each other, say hello, introduce yourself.
Hello, hello. How are you, sir?
I love that. Can you hear me? How do the kids do? Everything we do on our team is about empowering our agents, empowering our kids, empowering everybody that works with us. It's making them uncomfortable and getting them to the next level. So you're going to see a couple of our agents that are going to get up and talk about their experiences with real estate 19, their experiences with real estate. You know, to get up in front of people can be a tough thing. Wouldn't you guys agree? Who in this room is terrified of public speaking? Just me? I mean, I'm telling you, it's no easy feat. Well, on our team, we have our agents say scripts in front of the whole team over and over and over again, being uncomfortable. In my life, if I'm not uncomfortable in doing something, I'm not living my life. If I'm hiding behind doors, if I'm doing things that make me feel good and not uncomfortable, then I'm not pushing myself out of my comfort zone. And that's what I like to do. Today, after today's event, some of you are going to get a lot of good nuggets out of today, and some of you, won't be so happy with what you're going to hear. What I'm going to talk about this morning is probably something that you haven't heard before, and some people on my team hear it all the time. It's how we live our life, or dominant thought. It's how we start everything with the secret. 90% of what we do is between our ears. Wouldn't you guys agree? It's not the business, it's not the talent, it's between our ears. It keeps us from taking the next step. Right now, what will be kind of fun is everybody get out your phones. By the way, I did this earlier. Everybody on the left, when I go like this, you say what? Try it again. Yeah. On the right? Yeah. Yes, that's cool, right? Everybody get out their phones. You go to Facebook. Now, here's the thing. You only get out of an event or anything you do is what you put into it, right? You got to put something into it. You get a nugget out of it. So I want everybody to get out their phones, get on your Facebook. We're going to do a Facebook Live together. Some of you may not want to do it, and that's okay, too. You don't have to. But push through it. We're going to talk about some interesting things here today. Everybody got their phone out? You on Facebook? All right, who's really good at Facebook? Let's go to Facebook Live. Let's hit the live video. Where is it at? Show me, Roger. I had it just a minute ago. There we go. Okay, what I want you to do is hit your live button. I want you to tell everybody what you're doing today, what you're trying to accomplish today, what your friends, your family, everybody that knows you, they need to know that you're here trying to be a better real estate agent, trying to be a better person, trying to take the next level. People want to hear that. People want to help you, by the way. When I close off the meeting today or the seminar, we're going to talk about how we ask people for business. Your friends, your family, they want to help you. But what do you have to do? You got to ask them. Why don't we ask them? We're going to talk about that later. So let's go. Hit your button. Live. Talk. Get out of your comfort zone. Let's go. Aaron Taylor here, the real estate guy at the Sun Coach. I'm with my man Joe. What's up, Joe? How you feeling, baby? That's Jones over there, Spencer. Got the wife in the back. Right? Great time today. We're going to get so close to the 8 o'clock. Let's go. Let's do it. You know, sometimes that's hard when you don't do it a lot. I'm not a big social media guy. I don't know if you guys have you ever seen that social media. A lot of times it's not me doing it. And if I ever do social media, most of the time it's personal. It's me with my family, my kids, having fun. I'm just not very comfortable doing it. But I constantly try to push myself just to get a little more comfortable because I know it's great for branding, right? When you guys say I know a little bit about branding, yeah, I know a little bit about branding. I'm going to get you there too as well. Amen. So, yeah, can I get a amen? Thank you. Okay. So, some people have heard me say this before: business first, personal second. Everything that I like to start with, I like to be first, business first, then personal second. And here's why. If you tell people your intentions right off the bat, they're more apt to help you than not. Do you agree? Don't sugarcoat it. Who in the room has kids? Raise your hand. Who in the room has kids that ask you for money? You ever get that call where they're like talking to you for 10 minutes about everything in the sun, but you're waiting for the question to drop? Hey, Mom, can I get $100? Hey, Dad, can I borrow 50 for my date tonight? It's like, just get to the point. Well, you guys are no different. Why do you guys think you're here today? I'm going to tell you. I'm going to let you know. At the end of the day, we're going to have a table back here. And if you're interested in joining the Real Estate Guy team or joining EXP, you're going to go back and sign up on that form. And then we're going to have a separate meeting about that. But that's my intention. Now we have to build some value with that intention, right? If I did all of this and then at the end ask you that, you go, oh man, you brought me out here just for that? Well, now I'm giving you the opportunity to leave if you want to leave. But that's our intention. We want you to join our team. We want to help you become better real estate agents. We want to help you become better people. So I always like to start off with business first, personal second. And again, I'm going to talk about a question, mayor campaign that we ask people. And when we ask the mayor campaign, we always start off with the business question first. Then we get into personal. And I'll tell you, it just feels better. The flow works better. Don't you think your friends and family want to help you be successful? We're going to talk about that later. I always start off with the secret. In every training we do, in every event we do, we always start off with the secret. Who has read the book or saw the documentary, The Secret? Okay, that's how I live my life. It's the secret. We try to do good things for people. We don't try, we do good things for people. We give money away. I help agents. If you have that mindset, it comes back to you, right? You guys all know the saying, the more money you give away, what happens? Well, what happened to me over the course of 58 years is I started understanding how your dominant thought works, how my dominant thought created my life and where I'm at today, where I'm at with my wife, my business, my boat, my finances, whatever I have. It's a thought that I put in my head over and over and over and over again to get to where I need to be. I think when you see public speakers and real estate traders and coaches, I think 90% should be talking about that. I wish I had 4 hours just to talk to you about your dominant thought and how thoughts become things. Because that's where a lot of our shortcomings are. It's not that we don't know how to knock on doors. It's not that we don't know scripts. It's not that we can't learn all this crap. is that our mindset's not right. We got to get right up here first before you can take the next level. You guys good with me?
Yeah.
Over here, can I get a? You guys want what? Yes, you do. Oh, and by the way, it's okay to want money. It's okay to have a dominant thought of wanting money. The universe doesn't care. That's why there's actually bad people that have a lot of money. The universe doesn't really know if you're good or bad in some cases. They just know your dominant thought. So right now, I want you to write down something for me. First thing I want you to write down is business first, personal second. I don't want you to forget that phrase. And I'm going to role play with you that later. The next, you're a good looking guy, Jerry. Gosh. The next thing is I want you to be honest with each other. This only works if you're honest. I want you to write down your dominant thought. Not what I think it should be or you want it to be. Write down your dominant thought. What are you thinking of right now? All the time. I don't care if it's positive, negative. I don't care what it is. I want you to write it down. Now I'm going to ask someone to share it. No, I'm just kidding. You guys already find that? Yeah. Can you hear me? Yeah. I have to. Now, I want you to write down your dominant thought. If it can be anything you want it to be. If it can be anything you wish for. I don't care if it's health, money, prosperity, world peace. Doesn't matter to me. I want you to write down a dominant thought that you want to carry forward the rest of your life. Now I'll tell you guys, every single morning, my wife probably watched me in the shower do this, and I do it every morning, every afternoon when I'm driving my car. I say to myself, thank you, universe and God. I'm sure most of you believe in God, right? Few of you know, but that's okay. Pray to the universe. Universe and God, thank you for my wife, my life, my kids, my family, my job, my good health, my finances, my personality. I'm so grateful for everything you give me. People fall short right there. They say that, they pray, right? Grateful, grateful, thank you, they stop. But what they forget is that the universe wants you to be in abundance. The universe and God wants you to have money. They want you to prosper. Would you guys agree? Yes. Can I get a thank you for what? For money. So the next thing I do is I ask the universe for continuously good health. I never ask for a smaller stomach, just good health. Because that's going to be hard. Sam's going to help me with that. I ask for more money to help more people. That's real important, right? I ask for more friends, more happiness. Take care of my children and all those people around me. That's what I do every single day, over and over and over again. That's my dominant thought. Then we help others. Everything in my life has to help somebody else. With our team, that's always first and foremost. Before 2010, it wasn't like that. I want to tell you guys a story. I'm already going to start to cry. I don't think I can tell you the story, so I don't want to say it. I'm already getting like choked up just thinking about the damn story I want to tell you. Isn't that weird? You guys ever have a story like that that hits you real emotional? It's not even on the slide, but I want to tell you a story that comes to emotional just thinking about it. I'm going to try to do it really quick without getting emotional. The reason I know this works is because in 2010, I was broke. Remember the housing crash? Who remembers the housing crash? Some of you old people? In 2010, I lost every single thing I had. I lived at Red Rock Country Club, had a nice house, had a dozen homes, I had the cabin in the mountains, had the nice Mercedes S550. Mama had a nice car. We had all the nice stuff, and we were king of the world. Now, there's a reason I'm telling you this, okay? And I thought life was great, and I was a pretty good dude for the most part. I worked hard. I didn't do anybody wrong. And I was driving the car with my son Jacob to his baseball practice. And the phone rang in the car. It was the Yellow Pages. Now I'm dating myself. Yeah. I used to pay for a full page ad in the Yellow Pages, like $9,000 or $10,000 a month, right? Because they said it worked. So I did it. And I answered the phone, it was the Yellow Pages, and the lady says, hey, you haven't paid us in 3 months. You owe us $30,000. Now, that was one of many calls I got in 2009 and 10. I don't know if you guys can remember that. I mean, it was tough, man. You think inventory is at 3,000 today? Back then, it was like 20-something thousand. You know, when it started changing. So I said, yeah, I got it. It's in the mail. The check's in the mail. I mailed it to you. Don't worry. My son looks at me in the car and he goes, Dad, are we okay? And I said, yeah, son, we're okay. Don't worry about it. You just play baseball. We're good. And I was the manager of the baseball team. So we get to the Vistas Park. You guys know where the Vistas Park is. We pull up, we get the equipment, we go to the dugout. Remember this, JT? We put everything in the dugout. Yep. But I go to left field and I start crying because I had no money. I didn't even have the $300 to pay him for life. I didn't have $300 to pay for his baseball. That sucked. I mean, I thought, come on, man. It's got to be better than this, right? So then the next day, I'm driving down the street and I have a panic attack. Like I thought I was having a heart attack. And I called my friend Raj Agarwal, who lived in Red Rock, and he said, Aaron, just make the left turn. You're going to go to Sutherland Hospital. So I go to Sutherland Hospital. You want to get seen quick, walk in the emergency room and go, my chest hurts. Within like 60 seconds, I have an IV in me, and I'm laying there, they're pumping shit in me, you know. And so they admit me there, and it was just, and finally the doctor comes to see me. And the doctor walks in the room and he goes, Aaron, he goes, what do you do for a living? And I said, I do real estate. And he starts laughing at me. The guy starts laughing at me. He goes, come on, dude. He goes, we got Bob from ABC Mortgage in the next room. We got Joanne from Fidelity Kyle from that room. The whole hospital filled with the guy. Anyways, that was rough for me. So I needed to find an answer. I needed something. I knew I had to get my mindset. So I watched The Secret. And I'm going to give you guys some books and DVDs later for some people. I watched The Secret, and I tell you, it changed my life. I was trying to figure out, how do people have money? How do they have so much money? What are they doing that I'm doing different? I worked hard, I got up early, I made my phone calls, I did everything right, but what was I doing? And then I realized I wasn't helping enough people. I wasn't giving enough away. Once I started realizing, hey, just give all your money away. Just help more people. Have the intention of helping more people. So when you hear us advertise, and I know a lot of agents get pissed off about it, cash advances for people and this. We don't charge interest when we give cash to people. And they list their house and they want to borrow $10,000, we give them $10,000 because it helps them. Right, girls? Well, we remodel their house for them and don't charge them anything but just what it costs because it helps them get more money. So I learned all this. I'm telling you, it's amazing how it works. Can you guys feel me? Amen. Can I get up? Not yet. But this is what I want to get across this morning. This is probably something that you didn't think you were going to hear this morning, right? You probably thought I was going to go and talk to you about a script of how to answer the phone, right? We'll get to that later. But I just wanted to share how important, how this is in my life. So we're grateful for everything we do. Grateful, grateful, grateful. I'm grateful for you guys being here right now. I feel that you guys are all here for a reason. Some of you right now, matter of fact, don't be afraid. Raise your hand if you think you're here for a reason today. Some of you are. I think the universe puts us in line for a reason. There's people on our team that are very successful that are with us for a reason. When I meet someone and they're getting foreclosed on their house, and they need me to catch up their payments because they're going to get foreclosed on, and they have equity. I think the universe put me there for a reason, not to help me, but to help them. Just use me as a tool. I honestly believe that. Another thing I want to talk about, this is really important too, is that the meaning of my world is my meaning. I like to feel good. Who likes to feel good? I love to feel good. So, I think all Democrats are right. I think all Republicans are right. I think everybody has good intentions in their lives. That's what I think, because I like to be happy. I don't want to see the TikTok bullshit. I just don't. I really don't. My wife knows it. I don't want to hear it. It's not my world. I want to have good feelings. I want to have good thoughts. I want to be happy. By looking at that stuff doesn't make me happy. So me, I think all of you guys have good intentions. I'm just telling you right now. Everybody here is because they have good intentions. That's just how I live my life. Thoughts become things. Everything you think of becomes something. So start thinking of your dominant thought that you wrote down today. The second thing you wrote down, your dominant thought, what you want it to be, right? Start doing that. And you do it through this, vision boards. Honestly, who has a vision board? Raise your hand. Good. They work. Without a doubt. Now, all this stuff I didn't know before 2010, because 2010, I had an eagle like this. I made a lot of money. We had 13 offices in 7 states. I thought I was the king. Boy, did I learn. After you lose everything, get straight down to nothing, you start realizing what's important. What's important? Your family, your happiness, right? What's important is where I'm going to go when I die. What's important is how many people I can touch along the way. That's what's most important. Vision boards are so key with us. When you join our team, or if you're a friend of mine, who's in here on our team that's done a vision board? I mean, you're going to do vision boards, right? We're going to have someone come up and talk about his vision board in a little bit, but they work. Our vision board, lastly, everything on that item, right, baby? Almost everything on that item came true in one shape, form, or another. It just comes true. I'm in the shower, vision board's right there on the wall. Look at it every day. Vision boards come true. One is because you throw it into the universe, but two, it commits you. It makes you committed. Would you agree? That's why there's these things called goals. They make you committed to achieve what you're trying to get to. Write this down. Uncomfortable becomes comfortable with practice and action. Uncomfortable becomes comfortable with practice and action. I love that phrase. If you're not uncomfortable for the day, you're not doing something right. It shouldn't feel good, guys. In real estate, if it's uncomfortable, you're doing something right. You're buying it safe. That means if you're uncomfortable picking up the phone and asking somebody for business, it's probably the right thing to do. If you think knocking on someone's door and asking them a question like, "Adam, going to teach you," it's probably the right thing to do. By the way, who's single in here? Raise your hand. Now, I want the single people right now to get your phones out. Come on, get your phones out. Ready? Okay. Single people, I want you to put it on video right now. Right now, I'm going to help you, Doc. I'm help you out. I want to go to the wedding if it works. When I count to 3, I want the single people to stand up and video each other. 1, 2, 3, stand up, single people. Be uncomfortable. Come on. Come on, stand up. Stand up. Okay, if you're not single and you just have a boyfriend or girlfriend you don't like, stand up to them. All right, go ahead and sit down. Uncomfortable becomes comfortable with practice and action. We do that every single day. Who's scared of heights? I'm terrified of heights. You know the feeling of standing on, like I could just be on a balcony at a high rise and just go like that and go, oh, I get that feeling right here. You know what I'm talking about? That's the feeling that I enjoy and I love. I want that feeling every minute of my life. I'm going to tell you one more story, and then we're going to bring Mark up. Here's my story. I hope I'm not taking too much time. Janessa, am I on time? Oh, that is girl. I want to be wrong. So I was in my boat. I just came back from Bahamas at 12:30 this morning. And we were there the last 2.5 weeks. And I was on my boat. I got a motor catamaran. And we were going through the cut from the Caribbean to the Atlantic to the south, right? And through this narrow cut, when the tide's low, all the reefs showing and the waves break right there. So it can get pretty dicey getting through. And so we're going along, right, Jackie? We're moving along, and all of a sudden, I look to my right. I took it too early, and there's this wave coming. Now, it's not a 5-foot wave. It's like So my boat's pretty tall, right? I'm up there, and the wave is up there. And I'm looking at it, and all they said was, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit. And I thought, okay, either turn on my starboard side and go into it, or I would have went, whoa, who knows what would happen. Or go to my port side and punch it and try to get out of it. So that's what I did. And the whole back just went, whoa, and I hear them in the back going, whoa. And I thought, you talking about being uncomfortable? My heart is crazy. That probably wasn't too good. I don't even know why I shared that. So, anyway. So let me tell you a little bit about this guy. Mark Daniversky is our team leader. Mark Daniversky has been with us like 4 years or so, 4 or 5 years. He comes from the auto industry, had no real estate experience at all. I just want, during the course of the next 4 hours, there's going to be a couple people that just step up for 5 minutes and they share their story with you. I think stories and examples are key. Don't you guys think the same thing? They're important to hear, right? Because we're all the same. We all go to the bathroom, we all put on underwear, most of us do. And we're pretty much the same. So, anyways, Mark Daniversky, get on up here. Come on.
No, just realized I'm wearing the same shirt. Another round for Aaron, please. So before the start, I kind of decided I haven't seen him because they've been around recently. I said, I was thinking about I have a little rundown of what I want to do. And this thing, where's your vision board? Like, vision board. Why don't you bring your vision board? Oh, I didn't have it. So that idea is kind of when we can talk about it, but that I don't have it. I'm sorry. Give me the thing. Like Aaron said, I came from the auto industry. My brother owned a couple of repair shops that I ran for about 18 years. For 18 years, I was hated my life. I made almost no money. I supported the family for it was important. My life is the home of my children while I work. After enough time had gone by, I realized I had to get it right. I didn't know it. I had to do something different. And I've known Aaron since I was back there, my whole life. Since about 20 years, 25 years. And he mentioned getting my real estate license a couple of times. And so I finally said, you know what? He's got a nice car. I see his house, there's a red box, and that's what I want. So I said, let me get my license. Can't be that hard. I can do this. So I got my real estate license, called down and said, hey, I got my real estate license. Let's go to work. All right, well, why don't you meet Starbucks first and we'll talk about it. Okay. So we had a meeting at Starbucks, showed up with some paperwork, which were some scripts. He said, so here's what I need you to do. When you're all done, get back. There's some scripts I want you to memorize. I want you to go and watch The Secret. I want you to take a piece of paper and write down everybody's name and number that you know. Fair enough, I can do that. So we left Starbucks, on the way out of the parking lot, he actually said to me, oh, by the way, you're good at math. I said, yeah. He said, what's 3% of $100,000? I said, $3 grand. He's your realtor now, it's $900. I said, okay. So now I'm home, and now I'm working. Like, what does that mean? Like, brokerage charge that much money? Like, how does this work? I had no idea. I didn't know anything. So that was Friday. Monday, I showed back up in his office and said, all right, I'm done. Where do we go from here? Give me some leads, let's go to work. And again, it didn't necessarily work that way. But I don't want to drag on so long. Basically, so I started doing what he told me to do. Making phone calls, calling everybody I knew, doing the mayor campaign, doing everything he told me to do. And I positioned myself just outside his office so he could hear me do that. Because one way or another, because I thought as soon as I had a license, well, I was going to be on the team. Get the golden key, do what I have to do, have access to all these people, these leads, and real estate was going to be agrees. I know him for 20 years. Right? I'm a friend. I'm on the team. It didn't work that way. I had to earn my place on the team. How he does things now is a little bit different. I'll let him talk about that. But so I did everything he said, made the phone calls, called people. At some point, Even right into, well, that's right, I'm gonna back up. Things weren't working out the way I hoped they would. So I watched the secret again. I said, it's just, I'm missing something. Because things just aren't doing what I need them to do. So my wife said, maybe you should go and build this. I said, no, I can't go back to a boss and just 9 to 5, I can't do that. I just left that for 20 years, I hated it, I don't want to do it. I said, I feel something's gonna happen, something's coming soon. So we needed money. We sold our house. We had some equity in the house, we sold the house, and rented the house for a couple of years while we, figured out my real estate, figured out what was gonna happen. I will backtrack and tell you that when I worked for my brother, I paid me $1,000 a week for 18 years. Everything else went up. Mine didn't. Okay. Real estate. That name I owe? Oh, okay, good. Real quick. All right, so first year real estate, Spencer would build rental leads. Anything I could take, I would take. I would drive ahead 10 times a day for $300. Didn't get it. I would do it. My first year in real estate, $17,000. Okay, we were pretty much poverty. Right. After doing what Aaron told me to do, more phone calls, being around the office, being visible, deals started falling in place, whatever. I did a little bit better the next year. Okay, now it's like I said, I've been in this 4 years. Started, my first year was 2018, started in March. So, and then the following year, it did a little bit better. Just enough to barely to survive when the wife was working for Aaron. We were doing okay. We were doing okay. And then something happened. I'm going to relate this story to the secret, and then I'll kind of wrap it up and I'll be done. So I had what I used to call bar time. Bar used to be our team leader. And anytime I could get a chance to pick Aaron's brain, Bart's brain, I bought lunch, take coffee, whatever I could do to find out what they knew that I needed to know, I would do it. So I said to Bart, I said, hey, we'll go to lunch, my treat, I just need to talk to you a little bit. Yeah, sure. Aaron and JT were in the office. I said, well, we'll go to lunch. Yeah, sure, everybody, come on, let's go. No, I'm sorry, Aaron.
Oh yeah, I remember it really well.
So we have lunch, a couple cocktails. Bill comes. Bill was about 100, $105, whatever it was, $120. So Aaron, I looked at the check. Aaron slides the check, looks at it. So what you tip him on? That's not. And he said, oh, okay. He said, no, it's 150. And I laughed. I said, well, fortunately for me, it's my signature on a credit card, not yours. So I can kind of, I just don't see that happen. And we joke around a little bit. He goes, that's funny. That's funny. 200. I'm like, all right, well, we'll take a breath. Let's pump the brakes. Slow down. I said, well, this doesn't, what are you talking about? This is leaving a secret. So of course I did. You don't. If you did, I said you're leaving 250, 200 up. You said if you did, you're leaving 250. I said, wait, how do you get the 250? It's 200. He said, well, if you believe in the secret, it's an easy question. He says, $250 going to be your family doesn't eat next week. And yeah, we were at a place where we were going, okay. I said, well, it's there. Around Christmas time, I think it was close to that time. Okay. All right, sure. So she got to check with my wife. Because I'm not coming home explaining that credit card. He calls up, she's like, yeah, whatever. I'm like, oh, no, that's bullshit. She said, really? That's okay. That's okay. So I did it. Okay, I did it. And the kid got later got all emotional. The manager came over on the way out. It was a really, really positive thing. It was awesome. I got in my car. Before I got out of the parking lot, I got a phone call from a client that we had just been on the trip, and I showed him a couple houses like the year before. Wasn't really going anywhere because it's from Texas. Yeah, Texas. Called me up and said, somebody offered me money on my house. I can't turn it down. I need you to find me a house. I'll be out there a week. I want to stay in a hotel for no longer than a month. And I need you to find me a place both between $700,000 and $800,000. Okay. I drank the Kool-Aid that moment. That minute. There was no doubt in my mind. Now, whether I that would happen whether or not I did what I did in the restaurant, I don't know. But that was the caveat to me changing my life. Okay, it was, I had no inspiration. When I started thinking back in my life about things that happened, I said, no, I had that truck. And I always, for next one, trying to run that truck. Never really told me the secrets where I'm talking. And now that's how I live my life. It's the exact same way. You know, I will tell you guys without being specific, last year, $52,000 a year, I've been working with my brother, last year my tax.
That's what I'm saying, yeah.
He's everything. I love him like an uncle. I was calling him all the time. But yeah, he's, yeah, thank you for that.
I just want to share something with you. You know, before we start off, that the universe listens to you when you're by yourself. You can't fake it. You can't say you can't fake it in front of people. You can't be, hi everybody, how are you? Yeah. And then you go home and you tell yourself, what am I doing this for? You can't fake it. It's when you're by yourself that it counts. Does that make sense? Yeah. It's like praying. It's when you're by yourself that it really matters. There ain't no hiding from it. So that's what I had to teach Mark, because Mark came from the towing industry, and he was, motherfucking this, motherfucking that.
Yeah, he was.
He was a tow truck guy. I said, you can't be out here saying this, and when you go home to her, give her something different. It's not going to work, right? You got to be real with it the whole time, and it will come true. If you want to make $100,000 a year, if you haven't put on your vision board, you're going to make $100,000 a year. We'll show you how to do it. If you want to make $1 million, we'll get you to $1 million. It just will. It will happen. You got to trust the process. Hey, at some point, a lot of you guys are here tonight because you need to trust something. Something ain't working, right? And if you keep doing what you did yesterday, what's going to happen today? Same damn thing. So you might as well try something different. That's where I was in 2010. I need to try something different. I made more money from 2010 till now than I made my whole life 10 times over. Amen. Amen. More money. All right, so this guy that's coming up, Spencer Walden, not only is he a good friend of mine, he sold a franchise of 048 Realty back in 1982. I don't know, it was a long time ago. He was actually an 048 Realty broker. He's a wonderful guy. He's an EXP Nevada State broker. He's going to come up and tell you a little bit more about EXP and what's going on with the company. Just to give you some information, let's give Spencer Walden a word. Where you at, Mark?
He just walked.
He went to go throw up.
Yep, you're on.
I think so. Everybody can hear me, right? Yeah. All right. You guys want to know why Mark's in the business? You really want to know?
Yeah, sure.
Because he's a doer. He plugged himself in. Right this way. All right. And let me finish that up. What I mean by that, I remember when Mark got his license, and he walked in, and I had about 8 new agents that would meet, and we go through contract training. And Aaron would teach more of the how do you get business, how do you create relationships. I was more the contract guy. But one thing that Mark did, he said something about how we got that phone call that kicked it off, right? Mark was able to write that contract, I guarantee you, in 10 minutes or less. Perfect. He didn't provoke a counter. He knew exactly what he was doing. He knew the clauses of the contract, and he knew how to explain it. Mark, to this day, I guarantee you can write a contract in less than 10 minutes.
each and every one of you should be able to grab that purchase agreement and do it. Okay? That's why marketing business is to do it. 80,000+ agents. What do you guys think of that? Woo! When I started, I think we were about 7,000. That's back in 2019. When I came aboard. Now we're in over 21 countries, with 10 languages spoken. When I came aboard, I think we were about, I was at the broker at Realty, we had about 119 agents. The broker for EXP at the time, I think you guys had about 150 agents. And Aaron was like, guys, we got to grow this. I'm sick of paying the bills. Right? Remember that, Aaron?
Oh, yeah.
He goes, you guys got 6 months. He goes, I'm sick of paying the bills because we were profitable. 100% companies, guys, if you want to go own your own company, there's overhead, right? There's that office space. Where's our office space? In the cloud, right? Who's been in the world? Raise your hands. Who's been in the Nevada State room? Better question. Who hasn't been in the Nevada State room? Right? Plug in. That's where you're going to be successful. There's help beyond your immediate team. And I'll get to that later. This is for the state of Nevada right here. There's 2,889 brokerages in Nevada. Everybody know that? There's 3,000 brokerages. Where do we sit as the XP? You have 28,000 agents. That's your competition, right? How many homes were on the market? Today, how many homes? About 2,400, 2,500?
Today it's about 3,200
Wow.
with all the different asset classes.
Okay, pumped up. So if we're 3,200 homes, how many listings does that give 28,000 agents? Not very many, does it? Right? Point being, in 2019, we had 119 agents and we're not profitable. Okay. EXP had, at the time, in the state, about 232 agents. That's throughout the whole state, north and south. In Vegas, we had about 149. In 2020, 2019 is when I started. Aaron moved over prior to me, and I was hired. I remember when I met the broker there to replace her. So good luck. You're going to feel like a tetherball. Anybody play tetherball? Remember that sport when you're little? You hit the ball, you go this way, the other guy hit that way, and you go back and forth, right? At that time, I was alone, and I'll get to my state team a little later. But that year, we exploded to 465 agents in the state, 275 in Vegas. In 2021, we pretty much doubled it, to 820 to 505 in Vegas. End of last year, basically at 1,200 agents right now. So instead, give yourself a hand, because that's not working. Now we're about 800 agents on the state. And setting up the structure of the state when I had a vision of how we grow and how we attract, branch offices are key, right? Aaron has branch office or office Sahara, 8,400 West Sahara. This is our south branch offices. We have one in Mesquite. We have one out in Henderson. We have one off Flamingo over by the DMV. We have our main office, which is the Griffith Peak office. We have the Fort Apache office. And we have Aaron's office, like I mentioned. We're adding another office over off Fort Apache too. Is that right, Anthony?
That's right.
Our newest mega team coming on board. Our north. Look at our north. Guys, the North Reno area, we went from nothing to everything up there. We got a few incline village, Tahoe, and a few throughout the Reno area. So we have a lot of brokerages that have, branch offices that have advanced up in Reno. Look at our numbers. So this is straight from the MLS. Our broker code is near, by the way. I don't know why that is, but I tried to change it to be speed with all that. So this is our stats right here. Number one in sales as far as office goes. So that Griffith Peak office in Las Vegas is number one in transaction volume. Number 5 in listings sold. That is not counting Aaron's office or the other branch offices. But looks like we're about 3 transactions or 3 listings back from being top 3. So get out there and take some listings. Reno explodes to number 1 in agent count. We're the biggest brokerage in Reno, guys. Give Reno a hand. Come on. We're tracking the top agents and teams in the state. The Chris Nevada team, number 1. Okay, about 350 transactions a year. We did last year about $2.5 billion in sales for the state. The whole MLS guys here did 15 million or billion. So that gives you a little measure there. As far as your broker team, obviously I'm a broker for the state of Nevada. Jim McDonald, what a rock star she is for the North. She came aboard about a year and a half ago and completely changed that whole area. So let's give Jim McDonald a hand. Anybody? Great support system there. Okay. We also have Paul May. Paul, stand up. Brokers. Paul was a broker for Keller Williams for years. I know his own franchise. Help yourself.
That is correct.
So those are your 3 brokers from the state of Nevada. We also have an ASC, which is like, she does all the newsletters, onboarding, offboarding, all that good stuff. But Kira Dancy, any general questions, Kira Dancy helps us out and is there for support. We also have Brooke Christensen and Alex Bacon for compliance. Brooke's here. Brooke.
Stand up, Brooke.
I started back in 2019. It's tough, guys. I was alone. I was the tether log. That girl worked for 6 months with no pay. And had my back the whole way. Okay? So I want you to give her another hand. She had my back, she brought us together. Thank you.
Thank you.
Guys, I introduced that team to reflect on why we're growing. Okay, obviously because of UP agents, but you have a Nevada State team that's there for you also. Okay, we're in the world 9 to 4 daily at Nevada State room for answer broker questions. If you haven't created a broker chat, you're missing out. Okay, don't call my cell phone because I don't answer. I'm answering broker's chat, or I'm in the world on the headset answering questions. Okay, I just want to do some quick housekeeping so you know when to get plugged in. So the agents that are not plugged in, leave. Okay, and are out of the business. 8 out of 10. Okay. The NV onboarding email, if you're attracting agents, please email them to that email. If you're attracting agents, okay, that is the onboarding email. If you need something signed, don't send it to me. Send it to the nv.sign email. nv.sign@exprealty.net. General questions, go to nv.broker@exprealty.net. Our weekly class schedule, our training, which is Nevada specific. Back to that, those 8 agents that were in that room. Every single one of them, I believe, except for maybe 2 or 3 on the are the business, but they're here cranking because they plugged in, they know the contracts, they're involved in, they're engaged. Every Tuesday, Paul does a social media training, lead generation, KB Core. Then we have a state meeting at 10 a.m. Directly following on Tuesdays, contract training at 9:30 a.m. When you guys call and ask the contract questions, pretty much I'm going to ask, well, what does the contract say? Read the contract. Okay. Then we have our Explode series on Thursday for brand new agents at 9 o'clock. That's an 8-week series to plug in. All right, guys. Any questions? No questions? We're
What
good?
day was that contracts class again?
Contracts 9:30 a.m. on Wednesdays. We do one for the north and one for the south, so it's separate, because contracts are different north. Okay? If you look at our surrounding areas, Incline uses the south forms, Elko uses the south form. We're number one in Elko, by the way. We got great teams in Elko, about 60 agents out there. And Mesquite's obviously the south. Okay, everything else is the northern influence. But anyways, that's all I have for you today, guys. Just want to give you a quick update.
So before Adam gets up, with EXP, who in here is not with EXP, raise your hand. Or not yet? Okay, thank you. We don't like the EXP bombing, we call that EXP. So we want to just give you a little bit about the company. We're gonna have, after Adam, I believe we're taking a break, right? Vanessa? After Adam is a break, right? Oh, Adam, Jeremy, and then a break. We're gonna have the girls in the back. You can do it at break, or you can do it at the end. Please stay all the way to the end, because we've got a lot of good stuff for you at the end. But you can sign up anytime you want with the girls in the back to hear more about the real estate guy team, EXP Realty, how you get on a team. I just like to keep plugging that, as we go along. So this next kid, his name is Adam, by the way. Look at this guy. Are you 21 yet?
No, July.
He's 20 years old.
Our slide.
They look sharp. I'm going to make a prediction that in the next 5 years, Sam's already there, Sam Coleman, and he's going to be one of the top 5 agents in the state of Nevada. I'll tell you right now, because before I let him get on, the last quarter, when he's going to about to teach you, the last quarter, you made how much money?
Q4 of last year, 2021, I made a little over 80,000.
$80,000.
Not make anyone cry. But so this is gonna be my door knocking strategy, what I've used to have some success, like Eric talked about. So my name's Adam Rain, the $1 million kid is what they call me. I'm on Sam Coleman's team and got to where I am right now thanks to Aaron's help and Sam's help. I'm just a normal 20-year-old kid from Syracuse, New York, and I've been doing this for 2.5 years now. I got my license as soon as I turned 18, and I've gotten to where I am just by kind of like Spencer said too, just plugging in and following the systems that they give me. So with door knocking, the first thing you really need to come up with is what communities you're going to focus on, right? So the first step of that would be like, all right, choose an area that you really want to focus on that you like. Like for me, it's Summerlin because we focus on $1 million plus, generally speaking. You want to find a non-dominated area, right? So if let's say you find a community that you like, right? And an agent has sold 80% of the houses in that community in the last 6 months, then chances are they're pretty heavily prospecting that area already. So it's kind of counterintuitive for you to go to that area that's already been dominated by an agent when there's so many other communities in Vegas that haven't been touched. So find an area that is relatively not touched by other agents. You want to find somewhere that's not guard gated. You can get away with gated. Just find the gate code in the MLS and go about it that way. Guard gates, the guards are going to come after you sometimes, so try to avoid that as much as you can. And then find either a community or a few communities that add up to between 250 and 500 homes. I feel like between 250 and 500 homes, that's kind of the sweet spot, right? Where there's enough homes where you have enough opportunity, right? If you're looking between like 7 and 10% turnover rate, roughly 30 to 50 also, it's not too many homes to where things are gonna start falling through the cracks. So the script, this is the most important part, right? So, kind of like Mark talked about the scripts, right? And we have really, really great scripts that I think, did they pass those out to you guys? Does everybody have a copy? Okay. So I'll kind of go over it like pretty in depth. So three main things you want to think about when you're writing scripts, right? You want to memorize, internalize, and personalize. So you need to memorize the script word for word as it's written on there, exactly like that, don't change anything, exactly what it's on that paper. And then internalize it so that you can say it off the top of your head at any point. So I can come up to you in the grocery store and you can say it word for word as it's written on that paper. Once you get to that point and you know it off the top of your head at any given point, then you can go ahead and personalize the script and make it, change the wording so that it feels a little bit more natural for you, okay? So these are the main points of what you're going to hit when you're at someone's door, right? So you want to tell them who you are while you're there. You want to ask them if they know of anyone in the neighborhood that might be considering selling. You want to figure out if they might be considering selling. You want to figure out the price that they need. What's the number? You want to figure out where you're going to move to. Can they make that happen in a reasonable time frame, 30 to 60 days? And then from there, you're going to set the appointment, and that's when you have a listing appointment. So the psychology of the script is like the most important part too, right? So there's, these all make sense, right? These are good questions. But why are we asking these? So this is who I am. So what I say is my name's Adam with the Sam Home Luxury Group. I'm the one that sold the house across the street about 6 months back. And that gives you instant credibility, right? So now they're like, okay, this person's here to, ask me if I want to sell my house. And the next question is, do you know anyone in the neighborhood that might be considering selling? The reason we ask about that is because when you go to the door, they're thinking, you've been door knocking before, right? Pretty much everyone has. Raise your hand if you've had someone knock on your door. Okay, yeah. And what's the first thing you think? Okay, this person's gonna try to sell me something. Okay, you're peeking through the door, or you're knocking out the window, yelling at them from upstairs, what do you want? So the reason we ask, do you know anyone else, is because it takes the attention off of them. So they're thinking, oh, this person's about to try to sell me a vacuum, right? And then it takes the attention off of them. They're thinking externally, oh, do I know anyone in the neighborhood that might be considering selling? No, I don't know anyone. Okay, gotcha. What about yourself? For the right price, would you consider selling? At that point, bringing the attention back to them. At this point, the wall is already down, right? So now you have a fair shot at actually getting a realistic answer off them. Let's say that they would consider something the right price. Gotcha. So what's that number? What does that number have to look like in order for it to make sense for you? Let's say they say money 1.5 million, right? And then we need to figure out where they're going. So where are you moving to if we give you that 1.5 million price point? And then you're going to figure out the motivation, right? Oh, I've been thinking about downsizing for a while, or I want to cash out on the market. So, I probably want to stay in the same area and just rent an apartment for the time being to see what happens with the market. You'll hear that once in a while. And then can you move in the next 30 to 60 days? If not, if they know it's unrealistic, I need like 6 months or so, then at that point, that person is just someone that you're going to follow up with, right? It's not going to be an immediate lead that you're going to set a listing appointment with. If they are ready to move within the foreseeable future, like 30 to 60 days roughly, then at that point, that's a pretty hot lead, so you're gonna go ahead and set the appointment. Okay, what's a good time for you to come by, check out the home and see if that number makes sense, and then find you a place to go, and move into that apartment, right? Would you afternoons or evenings work better for you? And we ask that to dictate our schedules, right? I don't know about you guys, but I have a set schedule. My appointments all happen between noon and 5 p.m. Unless the house is a certain price point, that'll make exceptions, of course. But we want 12 and 5 p.m. So I'll say do afternoons or evenings work better for you. If they say evenings, then I'll give them 2 times to choose from. So that's again dictating my schedule. Let's say I have an appointment today, I have a doctor's appointment at 5 o'clock today, but they say evenings work better. I'll say, okay, I can do a 4 o'clock or I can do a 6. That's dictating my schedule and still making sure that I can get that 5 minute doctor's appointment or whatever it is, but also giving them the feeling that they're still deciding, right? It makes them feel like they're in control, but in reality, you're in control of the situation. So you're dictating your schedule, and you set the appointment, and you go and you do your listing presentation. So the follow-up, even if they say that they're not considering selling, and they don't know anyone that might consider selling, you still want to get their contact information. So you want to get their full name, you want to get their email and their phone number, and that's so you can consistently follow up with them and stay in touch. And then every person we talk to, even if they don't give you the contact information, I'll still send them a handwritten thank you note. So what that'll say is, thanks so much for taking the time to chat with me. Hope you have a great week. Something along the lines of that, short and sweet, just as another touch to them, right? And they'll basically see your face again and say, oh, that was the person that door knocked me, and I'll put a business card in there too, so they have my contact. And I also give them a follow-up call one time per month, and that's regardless if they give me the contact or not. I also circle prospects, so you can dial or find the phone number of that community, right? But also, if they give me their contact info, then I'll follow up with them through my CRM and just say, hey, this is Adam, the one that door knocked you a couple months ago or last month, whatever it was. Just want to touch base and see if anything changed since we last spoke. Again, that's just another touch. And then you want to be able to knock all the communities that you chose, so the 250 to 500 homes, that's why we chose that number, right? So that you can consistently follow up with them. So you want to door knock them one time per quarter, and just stay in front of them and see if anything changes, and you'll figure out as time goes on that maybe someone that didn't answer the door before, they'll answer, the third quarter of the year. So there's the third time you door knock them, you finally got them to answer. But you're able to get that lead and get their contact info because you're consistently hitting them over and over and over again. Also, at every opportunity, you can post open houses within your farm. So whether that's your listing or another agent gets a listing that pops up, call them and ask them if you can do an open house, because that's going to be another way to get your face and your name in that community. Same thing when you get a listing in that community finally, if you will eventually, then your sales line is going to act as another way to touch those people. They're going to drive by and say, oh, that's like get out of the door. You also want to be the expert in the community, so you need to know pretty much everything you possibly can because, especially in my experience in Summerlin, these people know pretty much everything there is to know about the community. So they all know the floor plans, they all know, what their neighbors have done with their backyards, they know the regulations, they know the schools in the area, the restaurants. So you need to know the builder and the floor plans. You need to know the surrounding communities, just generally speaking, so that you can have intelligent conversations with homeowners about what's going on outside of their specific community. You know the schools, restaurants, entertainment, and it's also important to know the sales information because this will happen. It's happened to me. They'll be at someone's door and they're like, "Oh, I know that person just looked at their house the other day." You'll be like, "Oh, I didn't know that." Well, that's on you for not knowing the sales information. So I learned the hard way, so you don't have to. So know the sales information. Check the MLS every day, day and night, so that you're up to date on the sales information in your community. And last but not least is do the work. Like I said, I'm just a normal 20-year-old. I'm not, as Sam said, I'm not God's gift to real estate. I just do the work that other people are willing to do, and it pays off. I know that parents are going to bring it up. So yeah, last quarter of last year, I paid a little over $80,000 in commission, and so far this year, I've done like 3.3 in sales, 3.3 million, which is equated to like 58,000.
My socks are older than him.
Yeah.
Good job, Adam. Give it around. We always try to do this, like I said in the beginning, is try to empower each other, right? So by Adam standing up here for the very first time, do you think that was hard or smooth or easy? He made it look pretty easy, right? He did a great job. But believe me, inside, internalizing that, it was very difficult. But it's pushing him to get to the next step. I really can see this guy, along with Sam, talking in front of thousands and thousands of people about this job. And he's going to remember this first time. You always remember your first what? Oh, your first public speaking event. Money is money, by the way. Write that down, everybody. Money is money. Seriously. Money is money. Wait, right side. Money is money. Can I get up? Okay, right in this next time, we're going to have a little more point. Who knows how to pray? Raise your hand. Okay, why do we learn how to pray when we're little? We learn like the Our Father, right? Does everybody know the Our Father? Lord, have help me. Everybody pretty much knows that for the most part, right? We learn that because it's a script. If we say the Our Father right, we'll get a good result. God will give us a good result. So we learn the script. Then as you get older, you can be around your family, around the table, hold hands, well, thank you, Lord, for everybody, my food, help us nourish our bodies, keep our family. You start praying on your own because you learn the script, right or wrong. Right? Scripts are important. Don't think I'm good at learning scripts. They sound too candid. Well, if you're making $100,000 a month, learn some damn scripts. I'm just saying, I'm a script addict. until I know it like the back of my hand, which when I get up again and talk about it, man, I am scripts to the T. We have 5 steps to answer a phone. We have a mayor campaign. We know scripts. But you know, Adam knows those scripts like the back of his hand, right? And who taught you those? Sam. Sam did. And Sam, you made, how much volume did you do last year?
56 million
56 million, and you do scripts
every day.
every day. Scripts work, but then you make them your own, right? You have to make them your own, but you got to know the scripts. So just, remember that. No scripts are very important. Adam, great job, kid. You're going to know you're amazing, and I'm just impressed watching your career along the way. So, again, my son is damn near my grandson. So the next guy that's going to come off, good friend of mine, known him about 20 years. He's one of the top 1% mortgage originators in the country. He writes CE classes for real estate and mortgage lending. He's an amazing guy, a really good friend of mine, and just like Anthony and I and everybody else that's coming up, they all believe in our culture, the same culture. Let's give Jeremy Doherty a big round.
Awesome, awesome. Thanks. This guy right here, give another round of applause. Eric Taylor, the one guy. He's taught me so much through the years. I can remember back in 2010 again, where things were just going to shit. Excuse my language. But this is the guy that picked me up as we went through the years. Definitely going on things where it's a learning steps, the way I talk to borrowers, to how I talk to agents. I do CE classes, and about 4,000 mortgage transactions later, I think I freaking got it. Maybe. But anyhow, who's been watching the market lately? Mortgage world. Is it going nuts? We've seen, I had a bet with a buddy of mine, Sherwin, here. I think we were about 30 days, somewhere around March 15th. I said, we will hit, and I put it on Facebook, I said, we will hit 6% by April 15th. And he chimed in saying, never going to happen. So I said, I'll buy you lunch. Well, April 17th, I believe it. No, April 19th, I bought him lunch at Bender Grill. But guess what happened the morning of the 19th? 6% hit. Well, today and tomorrow, this is going to circle around and great for you guys. The hardest working people in any industry, real estate agents. Huge props to you guys. But today and tomorrow, the feds are in a meeting to do what? Raise the Fed rate, right? Yeah. Don't get that confused with mortgage rates exactly, because the Fed rate is just the overnight rate that banks borrow. Okay, overnight rate, that's all it is. However, we do know that it ends up kind of circling around to a million other things in the bond, et cetera, that does end up raising mortgage rates. You hear on the news, they're going to raise it 3/4 of a point. They're not. I'll bet it right now, anybody lunch, that they go 1/2 point. We'll know by 2 o'clock tomorrow. And then in June, they're going to raise it another 1/2 point. And then in July, they're going to raise it another 1/2 point. And then they're not going to do anything until probably September, October. How do I know that? Just watching history. I'm a history nerd. I know what's been going on with numbers and mortgages and mortgage-backed securities and things like that. So keep an eye on that. Now, September, October, write this down. It will turn around. We will start to turn around September, October, because that is when what's going to hit, do you think? Nope. Nothing to do with politics. They've already turned everything up. I didn't mean to say that. But all of them have. We will start to see recession. Anybody believe that?
Yes.
Guess what? Because anytime unemployment rates drop below 3.6%, our economy hits a recession. It's always happened. It's happened exactly since 1950 when I look back through history. Now, guess what's awesome about that? Who's got an awesome thing about a recession? There's lots more real estate transactions when recession hits. What's that mean for you guys? Money in your pocket, right? So make sure you are in the right place, have the right tools and the right training and the right backing to be able to be in place for that. That's now. That's now to get ready for that. You'll learn that quickly. Back to where I'm from, I have back here my business partner, Scott Moraine, in the very back there, the one in the really wild and crazy jacket. And then the one that keeps me driven and really does all of my, I'm the brand that gets loans. I don't know how to do it. My wife, Jennifer, back there, she's who does it all and makes it all happen. No, right, honey? She'll say no, she does. You offer it to stand put. There we go. Guaranteed rate is who I am from. I am the brand. It doesn't matter what company I work for. I am the brand. And I want you guys to always believe that you have the brand yourself. You be the brand. We have in Chicago, we have the White Sox guaranteed field. Anybody ever seen that before? Even though I'm a Cubbies fan. Right. So that we are the third. Now some of these are outdated a little bit, but we are the third largest privately held mortgage company in the United States. The only ones bigger than us are Wells Fargo and Rochester, Quicken. And we're just about to pass Wells Fargo, which is pretty awesome. That just means that the loan officers that are working their personal brand are doing things right. And you don't get through a career of around 4,000 mortgage transactions by not doing something right. And with you guys in real estate, one thing that Aaron taught me many, many years ago, he probably don't even remember it, but I've lived by it. Because my father taught it to me, that is always do what you say you're gonna do. Just like the door knocking. I mean, I'm sitting there, it's the second time I've heard him talking about it, and I would be a nervous freaking wreck going up to somebody's door. I'd stand up here and just have fun. Because they said I could talk around 3 hours and work now. But that would be something that would make me a nervous wreck. That's why I always say that you guys are the toughest industry of all. Be able to do that. We get there by having low rates, super things like that. Did I talk too fast sometimes? I make my coffee with Red Bull instead of water. So catch myself sometimes doing it. One of the coolest things that I like, and many companies are leading this way, is caring more about technology to make your life and the borrower's life simpler. Okay, more good. For me again, it's not saying more good. But with that technology, but caring about each and every single borrower. Like I tell people, I've helped over 4,000 families with a house. You guys take on one of those concepts of, you're not just helping people buy or sell a house. You're helping a family move forward, or a family move into their own home, to finally be able to own their own home. You're helping other people that you maybe bring into the real estate business. What are you helping them do? Change their life. We need to put espresso out there because I see some here in the headlights. Okay. They're like, man, I don't know what this guy gets all his energy from, but that's where he is. GR, as I call it, guaranteed rate. It keeps getting top originators in the country. We have the top 5 mortgage originators in the country. One of them doing over 2.7 billion in mortgages a year. That's huge. He's the brand. Now he's got 23 assistants. I would not want to. My assistant is a hard ass. It makes me do stuff. So I couldn't imagine having 23 of them. Mortgages, where it's going to get good for you guys. And I believe it's all in the people that do it. I think I have a cool laser. I like pointer. Is where it comes back to, you're going to see many mortgage companies. Why didn't you tell me about that? We're going to see a lot of mortgage companies closing their doors over the next year. You may believe that. They've been in a refi world. I've always tried to keep my world at least 80% purchase. It's kind of like, what's the old saying about listing? Is it list to last? It's in the mortgage business, it's stay in the purchase world, or you will be working at Walmart next week. Because we don't get the salary. We're like you. We don't close loans. We don't get it. Wow. I like seeing where the CFPB complains. And in our world, the CFPB is like Nevada Real Estate Division on steroids that you guys have to deal with. They watch every single thing. And when you look at complaints, guess who the #1 fewest complaints to the CFPB across the United States? We're in every single state. Over 3,000 loan officers. So it's really cool to be able to be in that type of world. Loan options we have conforming, you're gonna start to see, and something I'm really excited about, starting June 7th. How many of you ever get a HELOC on your house? Hello? Okay. How many ever get a house? HELOC on your house. Where do you go? It's a nightmare trying to find where to go and what to do. I have a new methodology starting, and I see many companies gonna have it, eventually, is to where it's a 5-day HELOC. All technology driven. So that's gonna be something good. Why do I bring that up? Why is that important for you guys? How many of you have a buyer or seller that your buyer can't go into contract because they have to do what first? Contingent offer, right? How tickled are you if you're a listing agent and see a contingent offer? You're not, right? So we have 2 different ways now, starting June 7th, where they can pull the down payment money out of their house. It's not a bridge loan, which become complicated. This is simple. Take 5 days. Okay, 5 days. They pull the money out to be able to now buy that on their house, so that you're not having to become contingent. If their debt to income ratios are screwed up, we just pull out more money so they can pay off debt to be able to qualify for both houses at the same time. Or we'll buy the house. Then when there's sales, it becomes theirs. That is, it sounds a little complicated, but it's coming up in some pretty cool ways. Scott would probably be way better explaining that, but that's it in a nutshell. 647,200 is the conforming loan amount right now. We've seen it go up. You may remember when it was like 384, 417. We thought, holy smokes, how could it ever get higher than that? And all of a sudden, thank goodness, it came out. You can still get, because jumbo rates stink. Anytime somebody's buying with jumbo rates, they suck right now, big time. ARM rates, they don't exist right now. They're higher than 30-year fixed term. So there's not been a single, I doubt there's a single ARM rate been written by any company, especially the last few months. Those things just keep going up. So there's all of those. Renovation. How many times do you have people that are struggling because they're trying to find that perfect house? And of course, as a listing, you can't always put lipstick on a pig, right? That's all right. Tell them they don't have to settle. Let them buy that home as a renovation mortgage and make it exactly what they want. I can still finance 95% of the value. I've got an entire team and that's all they do. So we close in 30 days or less, thank goodness. And I'm the only loan officer for GR in the state of Nevada that can write it. So call me if you ever have anything like that. This is an easy way to get some of those houses that go on. FHA loans. Everybody knows what FHA loans. We've got those. One of my most exciting ones. We don't even like USDA, but here's my most exciting one. And the loan amount is different now. There is no loan limit on it right now. However, all VA loans, I do not charge any lender fees on VA loans. 0 lender fees. That's huge. Everybody don't do that. And again, I don't want to all do that either. Easy marketing tips. They don't always have the money. And I haven't seen people like USAA and those beat my rate in a very long time. So not only is it the lowest rate, it is that our owner keeps giving this tool to us to keep waiving all the fees. So we love those the way they go. VA. And how many of you have always heard the myth? Oh, people hate, listing agents hate to get a VA offer. You guys ever anybody feel that way? No, I mean for yourself. I don't mean I'm not gonna front you out for not wanting to help a veteran. It has nothing to do with that right now. But you've heard the fear of, oh, VA, the appraiser's gonna be a lot more strict. And if I were a real estate licensee, tell me if I'm wrong over here.
I'm not saying a word.
I would much rather have an offer a contract with a VA appraisal than any other appraisal. Because guess what? When that appraiser goes out to do the actual appraisal, if they start doing their homework first, I always assume before they go out and visit the house. If they see that they're not getting value, They issue what's called a tide water. They have to reach out to me and my team and say, we need help getting to this value. And we've got 2 days to come up with information to be able to help. I know in my experience, and I do a lot of VA loans, over 90% of the time, we establish that value. Because there's things like the 20 offers that they got over list, the comps that they couldn't pick up, the renovations that they didn't know about, all these different things. So I can tell you right now, and one of the best appraisers in the world's in the room, and I'm hoping he's sitting over there and not considered free. Okay, that is the strongest appraisal that can be done. So take that myth of FHA and VA being a problem, where VA being the strongest. Do you agree?
I'll agree with you on some points.
So what he said there was, I agree.
You're taking all my material. Come on, I'm gonna have nothing to talk about.
How much time do I have left? An hour? Jumbo loans is another big thing. Anything over 647,200. Even though right now across the industry, and this is every mortgage company, jumbo rates have started to suck, so they have had to start to go into some jumbo arm rates, which is a whole different world than mortgage-backed securities. Okay, these are privately held mortgages that are going on. But there's a way, because if you get, I look and see on contracts that I get, it seems like we're starting to inch towards that 750-ish range, not being out of the ordinary. We don't want to put somebody in a jumbo higher rate just because of that. So we'll do a first mortgage of 647,200, and then do a home equity line or a fixed second to cover that gap. Keep them out of the jumbo world. And it's not so much because of the rates. Anybody in here ever done as a borrower a jumbo loan? Right, nobody. All right, a couple. So you practically had to give blood samples, just all kinds of stuff to be able to get get the mortgage to go through. It's tremendously worse. So we made sure to put that into the more simplified. And knowing how to get around all the, that's why I always say a great loan officer, a good loan officer knows all the rules. You may agree with that? A great loan officer knows all the exceptions to the rules to be able to get someone to there. And that's where I've told people, it's the only egotistical thing I ever say. If you want a damn good loan officer, call 580-9000, because I know the exceptions to the rules. And the ones that I don't know, which is most, my wife does. So we will get that loan closed. I've been doing it for Aaron for many years, 20 years. Holy cow, 20 years. That went a long way. Fixed rate mortgages, again, they're gonna be here for a long time. They're gonna stay the dominant because of mortgage-backed security on ARM rates being short-term money being so strong. Where do you guys think you're gonna see interest rates go on fixed mortgages? Where do you see them going? They're 6% right now. Right? We won't see 8, but I think we'll meet in the middle there. I think by June 30th, we see 7%.
Holy smokes.
The great thing is higher rates have never slowed down real estate. So don't worry about it. Okay? Don't worry about it. It's going to be all right. And what's going to happen in September, October? It'll start to come down again. Okay? It's just the way it works over and over. One great thing that I love too about as far as loans that we do, all of you and all of your borrowers are constantly getting updates, real-time status as to where your loan is at. You can log in at any given minute and see exactly where your loan is. You can opt in to get text messages every time an appraisal is ordered, submitted processing, submitted underwriting, approved in underwriting, cleared and closed, stock strong, funded. All those things you can get automatic notifications for. How many of you like having to call and say, what's the status on that loan going? Nobody likes to have to make that call. You don't have time to make that call. And guess what? I don't have time to take the freaking, I didn't have time to take it off. But I want to make it life easy on you to where technology is always your friend. Huge, huge step. That's all I've got. In case anybody's got questions, how did I do on time? Right on it? Wow, 10 minutes early. I like it.
You're amazing.
Mention your question for everybody. The rates are freaking me out, by the way. It's freaking you out? Jeez. I mean, they are, to be honest, they're freaking me out a little bit. How much is it to cost a rate, why the rate down 1%?
Well, according to most callers, if I pay 1.1, I get 5%. What?
All right, I went right over my head.
Most borrowers think that if you pay 1 point, it buys 1% in rate.
No,
It does not. It'll buy between an 8 to a quarter in rate. And it may be different today than it is tomorrow. But I can tell you, out of, if I were able to look back at the last 500 mortgage transactions, I can find 2 of them that it was worth it for them to pay the points by rate.
in this case, with the rates going up, I can see how it would be advantageous for a seller possibly to advertise a rate decrease or, buy my house at this rate or buy, I'm just throwing it out there.
I have one more thing that made me think of it. As a seller, and this is something that you have thought of because we talked about it. Nobody in the room else probably has talked about it lately. How many of you go on listing appointments? How many of them have an FHA loan on their house that you're going to sell? How many of you have offered to sell it to where their loan is being assumed by the new buyer?
Wow, I bet you that's pretty good right there, right?
Think about it. If I have an FHA loan that I've gotten in the last, 4 years?
Well, more than likely refinanced in the last 12 months.
And so what's the average rate out there right now on FHA? Let's just say it's 3%. Okay? Let's say you've got a borrower that's doing a conventional loan. As you're taking them out shopping, they're going to put 20-30% down. Would you want to put them into an FHA loan?
Well, normally not, but yes.
Normally not, but hell yeah. If I am selling my house, so this character is selling his house across the street, it's a bottle match. If you can assume my 3% versus 6 or 7%, I get more money than you are.
So what do? You assume the loan and then you pay the difference in cash?
Correct. Or
can you
do a
that?
second to cover that.
There you go.
I have ways to be able to do it. Any of you that want to learn how to list and sell the assumable side, I got you.
I'm gonna start advertising. Talk to them.
VA is like the VA borrower. Yeah.
Yeah, Mark, go ahead.
Mark, question.
So yes, you want to know what CA borrower, can it be done unconventional or not?
No conventional, unfortunately, are assumable. Okay. Yes, sir.
So, when you are trying to do the assuming the mortgage, right?
Yeah.
There, you sell those that you have to deal with.
No, they are completely taking over that loan. They have to qualify for it. Okay, it's not, they can't just go, I think, like the old days. Used to be that way with VA too, the seller was still responsible. They're not. It's all passed on to the new person. Piece of cake, VA to VA only, FHA to any owner occupied.
Go ahead, Yvonne.
Probably a dumb question. What do you need if you're representing the buyer from that FHA seller in terms of their information loan number?
Yes, mortgage statement. Always get a mortgage statement or their note if you get it. There's all kinds of ways, all kinds of steps. I'll help them get, I'm not going to write that new FHA loan. I'll write the second to help cover the gap. And I will help them facilitate assuming the new first. Give me a hell yeah.
Yeah, good job, Jeremy. Way to go, kid. There's a few things I was thinking about, which was so important. When I started selling real estate, by the way, this is no, I'm not talking bad about EXP or Realty One or any other company. But one thing you'll always learn about me is I'm pretty honest. Sometimes I get in trouble by just opening my mouth because it goes from here to here, but it is what it is, right? I never want to do it with hurt and not love involved. But anyways, when I joined Realty Executives, when I started. Jeff Moore, I don't know if anybody knows Jeff Moore, I don't know if he's around anymore, yes? Great guy for me back in the day. He told me something that always sticks with me. He said, Aaron, he goes, the company you work for means absolutely nothing. He told me that. I looked at it, I'm like, what? He goes, it means nothing, it's all about you. You. Not the company, it's you. And I took that to heart, and that's why at some point, even though I own my own company, I started my own brand. The real estate guy. The real estate guy doesn't matter if it's 048, EXP, Keller Williams, Global Banker, it doesn't matter. People know who the real estate guy is. With that being said, it does matter the team that you work with, the group that you associate with. Does that make sense? You guys follow me? We have a great group. I don't care that we're the EXP. I don't care that. I did it. We have a great group. We have a great culture. When you go to a break, take 10 minutes. If anybody's interested in joining the real estate guy team, and again, I don't care if you're with EXP or not with EXP. I'm gonna throw a special incentive. Now, I only want people that really are serious about it too. Don't just go back there and sign up and not. I mean, if you really want to change your life, change your career, make money, learn this business, I'm going to throw a financial incentive to our advertising sources, which I'll talk to you about at our meeting, that I can guarantee you you're going to have leads. Guarantee you, I'll put my name out on it. Or I'll put out more money. I'll guarantee you get leads. But you have to pay your dues. You have to learn the scripts. You have to show up. You have to get up in front of the whole team and be embarrassed. That's why I have some of them come up in front of you guys. It's all pushing ourselves, right? I will put the money up to get you where you need to be if you show up. You guys follow me? Can I get a to make more? Okay. So let's take a break. They're waiting for you. The first 10 people who do go are going to get that financial incentive. Guys, take 10 minutes, come back promptly, go to the bathroom, get a drink. We got some great stuff. Anthony Knight's coming up and Brent Jones. Very exciting. Woo! Okay. And raffle prize too. Raffle later.
Oh, here, you don't have to, I'll turn it around. Let's see here. Hey there, Brooke Christensen, Spencer The Walden. only smiling compliance person I've ever met. I know. Right?
Can't wipe this smile off.
Come on.
Brooke, I need a hug.
Oh, I'll give you a hug. I'm good. Remember I said your best friend? That's good. I'm finally gonna meet you.
Every time I need someone, I'm a girl. I'm a girl.
I love you.
I know.
She's enough.
This is Betsy. I know.
I'm streaming up in northern Nevada. There we go. There's Joe. Hey, Valerie. Oh, May.
Oh my
What we got
God. Yes,
here?
she's a jewel. She's a jewel. I didn't even
Everybody
find
up
out
in the north, we're gonna have a little break. I'm gonna keep it streaming and then we're gonna have a couple more
Like the
streams.
little behind the scenes.
And I was like, oh, come on, girlfriend.
I love it. I love it.
You too. And with us being, when we're not seeing each other, it's kind of hard to know. You know,
That's why I say this.
I know. So it's like when I connected with you, I was like, this is my girl.
Yep, once you get that connection, you're like,
I know. I know. That's what I felt about Lizette too. Lizette is my heart too. I always talk, and I call her and I tell her, I'm like, I'm loving her today. Because she is my angel, so I do love her.
so awesome. We are so lucky we have a therapist.
We do.
We really do.
So, yeah. Well, I can go to a closing.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to go help over there with the nights too.
Oh,
I'm so happy it's so good. Congrats on your closing.
thank you, sweetie. I will. Oh, look, hopefully it's going to go great.
So. You've done this. So I sent her a message, so she should be reaching out to you. Do you need a link? Send it to me. Okay. What?
Okay.
That's the thing.
Hi, Sister Valerie people.
Valerie, okay. Yeah, a few days ago. They emailed on board. Yeah. Love it. She's an amazing. Cool.
Always learn all the time.
Nice to meet you.
Nice meeting you.
You're the best. What'd you say? I had this whole list. I got all big reason I got as far as I did.
All right, I'll be right back. Thank you.
She's awesome. Pleasure. Good looks.
If you need to sell your house, talk to Realty. The most experience around. Talk to Realty. You wanna sell it fast and get the most cash. Talk to Aaron Taylor. The real estate guy. Talk to Aaron Taylor. 310. Talk to Aaron Taylor. 310. It takes a whole lot more than a fancy yard sign. If you wanna sell your house, call the real estate guy. Talk to Aaron Taylor. 310 Move.
I was just trying to get your attention. Worked very hard at that. By the way, every Tuesday at our office at 8400 West Sahara, is it Tuesday, right, Jessica? at 11 o'clock. We do just for like an hour and a half. We go over different subjects like branding, scripts. I mean, everything we do on our team, we teach you guys and give it to you. We'll help anybody. You know why, right? I'm going to tell you the secret. Why do we help everybody with everything we do in real estate? Just give it to you guys to help them.
Comes back to you.
Yes, it's almost selfish because it comes back to me. And I know that 99% of you are going to do it anyways. All right, 98. Maybe. So again, on our team, we talk about our culture. You know, we feed people. We go to hospitals. We have Christmas toy drives. We help Anthony Knight, which you'll talk about later with his Foster Friday Foundation. We love just help the community and working together as a team. We enjoy that. So go back and sign up if you want to hear more about that. There was a reason why I was telling you that, and it went like this. Woo, right out of my head. So, but we're going to have one of our agents has been with us a little over a year, I'd say about a year and a half. She's not just beautiful on the outside, she's beautiful on the inside. So that's part, by the way, of being with our group, is that you have to be beautiful on the inside. You've got to be kind. You can't be an asshole. Excuse my French. You don't deal with that. You got to be positive. The cup's always half full, not half empty. You love your neighbor. You help each other. That's just part of the deal. But this young lady, I'm going to have her come up again, like Adam and Mark. It's the first time getting up, so it's pushing them out of their comfort level, right? Which we do constantly. So let's give Natasha Kirby a round. She's going to talk to you in 60 seconds or 3 minutes, depending on her comfort level. Might be 30 seconds.
Awesome. Can everyone hear me?
Yeah.
Amazing. So my name is Natasha Kirby. I'm going to share with you a little bit about my real estate journey so far and being on Aaron's team. So I've been on Aaron's team for almost 2 years. Prior to Aaron's team, I was in real estate for about 6 months. So I had this period of toying in brokerage, absolutely feeling uncomfortable, unwelcome. I went into the office twice. And I didn't want to go there. I didn't want to be there. I didn't want to be around people. I was like, this is not the fit for me. I quit about 2 weeks in. And I had a dear friend of mine kind of pull me under his wing. He taught me a lot in my first 6 months. He's great. But at the 6-month mark, I really got to a point where I was like, I'm feeling lost. I don't feel like I'm really making traction. I know I need more support in order to really get me started. So he was like, Aaron, do you think Aaron would be a good fit? I was like, possibly. I met Aaron prior. I went to the office. He did some training. I met with him one-on-one. And immediately felt like it was right for me, to be completely honest. So I ended up joining the team. And one thing I loved about the team starting out was that it's a big family. So we all know each other very well. We're here to help each other. It was very defined. I didn't feel awkward. I'm someone who has like probably 1 million+ questions. So right after joining the team, a month in, I got my first deal on contract. I called at the time Mark, the team leader, and I probably called him 100+ times during that first deal, like, is this right? Are you sure? Is this what I'm supposed to do? Blah, blah, blah. It's like, and every time I had a question, I had someone there for me. So for me, it was a game-changing experience because I went from an unconfident, scared girl, knowing nothing, to someone who was like, it's okay, let me reach out, I'll be right back to you. I'll get that answer for you right away. I don't know, let me find that out for you. So my confidence started to boost, which was amazing. And my first year on the team, I ended up closing 11 transactions. It was awesome. And one thing I really enjoyed about the team, which coming into real estate, I didn't know it was so talked about, as you guys have heard this morning. Values and mindset are talked about just as much as real estate, which I thought was so cool. So my perspective started to change. I started to kind of go inward and realize how what's happening inward is actually affecting me outward, which was a huge realization. But I can't thank the team enough, the ongoing support from Erin, from the office staff, from all the agents, team leads, like completely has changed my experience in this business. And public speaking is not my forte. If you ask me when I joined the team, did you ever do it? No, you can pay me. You could not pay me. If you asked me last week, no, I'm not doing it. It's like, no, you're gonna do it. You're gonna do it. You're gonna be fine with him doing it. And the one thing about Aaron is that he's always pushing you, which you learn to love. Learn to love. So he's slowly been pushing me. I've done some trainings for new agents on the team recently. So I'm slowly getting outside of my comfort zone. Now I'm here with all of you. So that's huge. And that Erin has said earlier that now I put to practice one of the things I use in my life is uncomfortable becomes comfortable with practice and action. So I know with the tools I've been given on this team and the support that I have, that honestly sky's the limit. I'm in great hands, and I can't think of it.
By the way, she loves me. Is like she's been in the business just a couple of years, and she's real new, right? I'm not bringing you people up here saying I've done 100 deals. I've done. Come on, when you first start, this is a marathon. You guys know it's not a sprint. That's all BS. Those guys, or they're one in a million. It's a rarity, right? But she's now getting up in front of the newer agents because she knows more than the new agent. So we're starting to empower her to teach how to do a rental, how to open a lockbox, how to show a house. Everybody just helps everybody along the chain. It makes the team strong. You guys follow me on that? Can I get a amen? Because we're all going to be over. Yeah, you did a great job. Been a good friend of mine for a couple of years now. Man, his culture is so much like mine. We clicked as soon as we met each other. He has a huge group in town. He just joined the EXP family with his entire group. His culture is just like ours. He puts his people first. He puts his agents first. They put their clients first. And that's why we got along so well. He loves dogs. I love Puck. Oh my God, where's Puck? Anyways, let's give Anthony Knight a big round of applause. I've done 100 deals.
So I want to talk today about what I think is the most important thing in this industry that gets overlooked, and that's building and managing a database. And so if you look back, it's one example I like to use. Does anybody remember when WhatsApp was purchased by Facebook? So it's 2014. That deal was about $4 billion in cash, and I believe with the stock somewhere around 18 billion or so. So it ended up being a deal worth about almost 22 billion, and that was in 2014. And so a lot of people question, why would anybody spend that much money on a company that's never produced a profit at all, which was the case with WhatsApp, probably still is today. Actually, the valuation today of WhatsApp is only about 1.5 billion. So the reason was they wanted the data. Facebook wanted the data that WhatsApp owned, so they can use that to retarget and to sell ancillary products. And so what I consider the definition of a lead is somebody that expresses interest in buying or selling. So it doesn't matter if your model's like mine, we're mostly digital marketing driven. So most of our leads come from Google pay-per-click campaigns, Zillow, Facebook, Instagram, other social media platforms. But a lead, again, is somebody, excuse me, that express an interest in buying or selling. So whether you do open houses or you door knock, or, it's somebody, it's part of your sphere of influence, you should be always putting their information in your CRM. So who here uses a CRM? Okay, good. Who can tell me what the best CRM is?
The one you use.
Exactly, right? So every single person, because most of them nowadays are about the same, they all have tons of features like auto dialers and AI, so you can have text conversations without really having them through the AI, and so many other tools. So most of them are pretty similar. There are some that I think are better than others, but I don't care what it is, as long as you use it religiously and pretty much live through your CRM every single day. So in that, every CRM that you'll find is going to offer, like the one we use, which we have to use follow-up bots. But again, if you're a EXP agent, you gotta have paid core, which is really good as well. And all of them are going to provide training videos and tutorials on how to use it. So this is a good example of like the homepage on follow-up bots. So our team members, as an example, are in a round robin. So if you have a team, whether it's a small team or a large team, very easy for your incoming leads. So if you subscribe to buy sell leads or commissions, boot count, any of the sources, or again, whether you're door knocking or doing open houses or it's a past client, they should always fill in your CRM. And for incoming leads, you can set so many filters as well. So our agents are all in a round robin on our team, and it's pretty much if you're up and the leads landing on you, doesn't matter on our team if it's a buyer seller, what price range it's in. The lead is assigned automatically to the agent. But again, you can also set filters. So if you run a team where you have listing agents on one side and buyers agents, you can filter it out in a round robin format. So when the leads come in, it's assigned to whatever agent you chose for that criteria. So different price points, even zip codes, locations, and so forth. And I like questions, by the way, too. So if any of you guys have questions, ask. Go ahead.
What's the difference between price point and asset class?
Price point and asset class. As far as
like who we would give that particular asset class or price point.
Yeah, you could do either. So you could set it as an example. If I'm understanding, you could set it as anything over 500,000 price point that's a seller goes to this agent, or anything that's under 500 and as a buyer goes to agent X. So pretty much about every type of filter you can think of, all the way down to time frame too. We get leads to register that are 30 days out or sometimes 2 years out. But that's the other point I really want to emphasize today in all of this is don't look too deeply into that. If you're buying leads online, don't worry about how long they said they're buying or what price range they're in, or really any of the information that they put in that they registered with other than their name, phone number, email address, because as we all know, anybody in here that's worked with enough buyers or sellers, I mean, people change their minds a lot. And so you should really look at it as I'm building and managing my database, and I'm going to be having conversations every single day with everybody in the dashboard, no matter what. Just like we talked earlier, Eric talked about the follow-ups, and I know he's really good at that. I've been around him enough that he stays in touch with his past clients really, really well. So when you represent a buyer and close, what's their next real estate seller, right? So what we do as an example through our CRM, 90 days after we close as a buyer, they start to get dripped on and touched, and we stay in front of them with a seller campaign because we know that that's going to be their next move. And I think the statistics, I've heard different numbers over the years, but I think it's something like only roughly 10% of realtors follow up, stay in touch with their clients, especially buyers. So a lot of us are guilty of that. You close on them, you're done, you know, and you get the check and you kind of move on to the next one. But again, every time you close a buyer, you know that that's a future listing, not counting the referral business. And so I have agents on my team, Sasha back there closes 60, 70 transactions a year. At least half of those are probably buyers. And so we know that that's a future listing too. And so you can't overlook that. It's really important to stay in touch. We do a 1-year anniversary call, so it's another way of just touching them and staying in front of them. So on the 1 year, hey, you know, just saw today that it's been 1 year since you purchased your home. Wanted to congratulate you on that. Just want to check in and see how things are going. And, you know, has it fit all your needs? You'd be surprised how often people say, "Oh man, I'm glad you called. Actually, I've been thinking about calling you because, you know, we decided we want a pool now, or you know, we want a bigger garage. We want to upgrade, or sometimes downsize. Oh, it's too much house. We should have got something smaller." And of course, the question you end on is, you know anybody else that I can tell? And again, often there's a response that's positive. So for your CRM, always stay in front of your past clients because that's future money in the bank for sure. Let's see. So this too is an example. I got ahead of myself. This is our team calendar. So this is great for our admins and trainers because they can kind of see what everybody has going on, what appointments they have scheduled, and if they're available. We get a lot of call-ins in my office, listing calls because of the advertising that we do. And so for us, it's important to know as a team who's where and who's available because a lot of times it's either we're doing a live transfer to them or, you know, they're in the office and we're grabbing them to transfer the seller lead over for them to speak with. So that's another one of the many features you'll find in just about any CRM. It's very important too, especially if you're, you know, if you're a good, solid, tight team. We all want to know where we're at. It's good too, I think, for just safety. Get a lot of strangers to register online, so it's important too to know where your team members are at. Action plan. So again, every CRM is going to come built in with a lot of really good action plans or drip campaigns, which will allow you to nurture the lead as they progress. And so a lot of them that we get, especially when you are dealing with online leads, most of them on average are about 18 months out from buying or selling. And keep in mind too, one thing that's important to know is if let's say you're subscribed to some sort of lead source and you're getting buyer leads, most people, just like when they go to shop for a new car, you know, you're still driving the car you have, but you're kind of wanting to window shop a little bit, see what your trade-in value or sale price is going to be of your current vehicle, and kind of seeing, you know, what do I think I can afford, what do I want? Sellers do the same thing before they list. They like to go start looking online to see what kind of property they can end up purchasing, fall on the market, how long listings are staying on the market before they even contact an agent. So a lot of times they'll register as a buyer lead, but they're actually already a homeowner too. They need to sell to buy. And so the one thing that really bothers me in this industry is I think most agents that buy leads don't really engage or nurture them and don't really look at it as building and managing your database. And so I've been doing this for about 12 years, solid and have roughly 60 to 70,000 people in our database. So I could probably shut everything off right now and never generate another lead again and easily make 6 figures a year just off of my database, because there's so many people in there that over time are going to make real estate moves and send referrals. And when you look at every large company out there, that's the whole game that they play, is having a database and retargeting and staying in front of their customers and clients. And so the great thing is, when we look at these action plans with Smart List, is you can take the criteria of the lead, the time frame, every component of it, and say, well, okay, this is the best action plan for this particular lead. So we have drips that we get a wrong number, it's a wrong number drip. And you'd be surprised how many people eventually end up responding and say, oh, I'm ready now, I just didn't really want to be bothered, so I'm sorry I put in the wrong number, my number changed. Another one is working with another agent. We'll get people to register, and for some reason they're on our website looking for homes, when probably the reason why is their agent's not communicating or providing to them what they want. Now, of course, we're not going to try to break a relationship, but we send that message out saying, hey, after 1 week, 2 weeks, and it kind of starts to soften up a little bit. We like this kind of a soft, stay in front of them approach. We're not hardcore blowing them up all day long, because we also don't want unsubscribes. We want people that are going to continue to receive our any type of action plan or drip campaign, as well as our market report. So every single lead that we get that registers gets put on a monthly Las Vegas market report email. So, or whether it's a newsletter or whatever the case may be. So I like not being too aggressive, because again, I don't want them to unsubscribe, because they might buy in 10 years for all I know. So you want to keep them, and you want to keep them on the listing alerts. There's a lot of good action plans in the Smart List that you can set up as well that kind of filter out your leads, whether they're ready right away, or they're going to be a 12-month nurture, or they have to sell to buy, or whatever the case may be. So that way, when you go in every day, and you get in your dash, you can decide, who am I gonna call on today? What list am I looking at? Big thing with, as far as anybody that's running the team, it's gonna score your agents on their performance, how many calls they're making, how many emails they're sending out, text messages, and so forth. So that's when we get into this page. And none of this is complicated. At first glance, it can look a little overwhelming. But my agents in here can all tell you, because they live through the CRM every day, the admins, and it actually makes your life a lot easier, because you know what your day's about. You know who you're supposed to call. You can schedule a follow-up call from somebody you have a conversation with today for 2 years. And in 2 years, good chance you probably forgot all about them, but it's going to pop up on your to-do list for your follow-ups that day. And if you take good notes and you pay attention to what type of properties they're looking at, it makes the conversation much easier down the road, when you can say, hey, I remember we talked together, or talked last year, and you mentioned that you're looking to move from Nebraska, but you're waiting for your granddaughter to graduate from high school, and how does that go? Actually have a conversation with them that'll help you connect, and and continue on and become their agent. So here's an example. These are the good ones we see. This looks like this was a Google lead that we had. So they've registered they're from Canada. See up there, we've got their name, email, phone number, home address in Calgary, and property address here. And so, see the notes put in, these are notes from one of our admins. So she vetted them, got it set up, and then assigned it to Sasha. And this is kind of a timeline on what happened. So they registered in December 21, listed 3 months later for $375. We closed a month later for $410. Now, the next move for us on my team is we're gonna market to the buyer of that home because I highly, highly doubt he needs the buyer's agent well anyway. So I have their address, I have their name, and a lot of other information that we get through the transaction. And so I'm gonna be mailing on that buyer as well of my past listing because I know the property better than anybody. And over the years, there's transactions we've done 4 or 5 times on the same property. We just keep selling it over and over and over because by the time you get to the 3rd time, it's a pretty simple conversation. Yeah, I sold the house 3 times. You saw the pink bedroom, oh, you hated it. Awesome, yeah, I know the property. What do you want? I've sold it 3 times. But you can call the person who never followed up with you, remember sold you the house. There's actually been 2 times that they thought I sold them the house, actually. So I just went there. But people have a short memory, I think, when it comes to realtors. So that's why it's so important to prospect, to stay front. So here's another example that is a little bit different scenario. And I use these examples because I really want to send the message that don't worry about what they're doing right now. Just stay busy in your day and do your follow-ups, and good things will definitely come out of it. And it keeps you busy. You know, you're having conversations and all you're doing is checking in. Most people really appreciate that because they feel like you care about their home search or sale and that you're there for them. And so it's a pretty simple conversation to have, especially when it's somebody that you know well enough, either you inputted their information or it's captured through some sort of campaign. So this is a lead that we actually had put in our palm. So our method is after 14 days of following the call, text, and email schedule and not having any contact at all. So we consider contact any type of response, whether it's a text, email, or you get them on the phone. We have so many leads coming in that after 14 days, my agents need to pawn them so they can continue to focus on their incoming leads. Best time to call a lead is in the moment. So at the absolute best time. They're in the moment, they have real estate on their mind, they just got on their website, they're searching for homes. It's not the next day when they're at their kid's soccer game or the grocery store at work. It's the perfect moment because that's what's on their mind. So if any of you guys are generating leads, again, through any of these various websites or through your own campaigns, it's absolutely critical to call them within 5 minutes max, if you want to convert. Otherwise, they've moved on, they're on another site, and another agent's going to grab hold of them for sure. You already spent the money, so that should always be, unless you're in an appointment, and it's impossible, you must call them right away. But this is a lead that went in our pond, and so Cody on our team had started with us as a new agent. We have about 20,000 or so leads in our pond now. Got on the phone and started calling. And so this particular client had registered 3 years ago. And so we tried multiple times, put him in the pond. The day he called, it was perfect timing. And the lead said, yeah, actually, glad you called. I'm thinking about some new construction. I wanted to go check out some houses. Great. When do you want to go? When did you go?
On
that
Halloween.
day or?
Yeah. No, it was like 3 days later on Halloween.
3 days later. Okay. So within 3, now this is a lead that was 3 years old, right? Sitting in our pond.
Called him up, we have lots of examples like this too, by the way. Called him up, took him down, got him under contract, then they said, oh, actually, our friend wants to buy too, are there any more homes in here for sale? With the builder, there were, so the friend also came down and purchased some new construction, so that was like 2 deals out of that, making 1 phone call. Locked them up, closed, and probably will be their agent in the future, I'm sure, when they won't sell, because Cody will continue to stay in front and follow up. So that's definitely 2 more transactions in the future. Hardly anybody stays in a house for more than 5 years, it seems, that I know, especially in Vegas. And they'll have equity. So same thing, here's the timeline. So they were from Ohio, they were newly bonded, already working with an agent, and then went to 7 months later, ready to buy, and closed on the new build and referred a friend. Oh, they're cash, even better. Bless your journey. Sorry. Here's another example too, from 8 years ago. In fact, actually, I think we imported that lead 8 years ago, so they might have even registered probably before that. 8 years. Let's see. Got some good notes there. This is a great example of note taking. Done by Joe Tennell, one of the best agents in town, one of the best at following up and keeping the notes in the CRM. How many calls do we get per month? Or how many calls do we pay?
It can vary between 30 to 50 on any given day.
When he closes, like 50 deals. So, and it grows. Seller and buyer, like we talked about, a lot of times buyer leads are actually seller leads first. They just register as buyers because they want to see what's out there. Just looking, okay, that was in 2014. So just looking, sold and bought in 17, then bought an investment property in 18, and then sold an investment property in 21. So here's a lead that's 8 years old. 1, 2, 3, 4 transactions within a 3 years of time period.
And they had kids that ended up buying.
Okay, even better, yeah. So 4 or 5 probably and growing. There'll be more transactions with that because it's real simple. They'll stay in touch. I like to say, that there's 3 main components to being successful in this industry. And if you only focus on those 3 things every day, I don't see how you could possibly fail. And I think for sure, anybody who practices this becomes a top producer in this market. And it's knowledge, effort, relationships. Not in any particular order, but I usually put it in that order, but it doesn't matter what order you put it in. The knowledge part is educate yourself, know the contracts and disclosures, know the market, know what you're talking about. So when you speak to your clients, you speak with authority and confidence. You know more, you should know more than they do. That's a mistake I see a lot of agents make often is it seems like, they kind of let their clients tell them what to do and how to do it. And they don't really educate the client. They just kind of act as the door opener in a way. And you should definitely always know more than your clients. That's why they need you. And that comes through learning and knowing more than they do. And so I felt like I've had a good career in real estate because I came into the industry with knowledge in construction. I understand mortgages. I don't try to act as a lender. I'll be the source of the source. So if somebody asks me a lender question, I want to get them over to the lender. I don't it's not my role, but I'm providing value by being the source of the source. And so knowledge, know what you're talking about, and people believe you. There's no debate. Effort is just that. You have to put in the hours of the day. You can't sit around waiting for it to fall out of the sky. So again, I tell everybody in my office, just stay busy, whether you're making calls or store knocking or open houses or whatever your method is. Got to do it consistently. You have to do it every single day, over and over and over for it to work. But you have to put out the effort. And, it's kind of like when you have a job and you got to go punch a time clock, just go punch a time clock. You're there at least 8 hours a day. But I honestly, outside my office, I see few agents that actually work 8 hours a day. To be quite honest, I don't know very many that I think work 4 hours a day. Some not even 2. So again, you gotta stay busy. You gotta be building and managing your database, making touches, building relationships, which is the third key, obviously. The more people you talk to and get to know and put in your database and follow up on, it's a numbers game. The more business you're gonna have, always, and the more referrals and the more opportunities. So don't ever forget, if you just focus on those 3 things, that's it. Don't even worry about anything else. There's no magic wand or dog and pony show or any of that. It's stay busy in your day and practice knowledge, effort, and relationships. Any questions? I'm not as colorful as Sam Moore.
Well, I'm a character. You're an awfully good looking dude up there, I'll tell you. Great job, Anthony. Way to go.
Go ahead. So EXP agents in the room? Hands up. Okay, how many of them think Brooke and Spencer are doing an awesome job? Yes, survey. I didn't know this, but that's how Brooke and Spencer get their bonuses, get their extra money. So take 2 seconds, just fill that out, give them a 10. If you can't give them a 10, go talk to them.
Dude, that's
I'm not giving you a 10.
That's gonna cost you.
Find out why you wouldn't give it, fix it, I promise.
Well, guys, seriously, we have a great team. We really want, our corporate structure, that's how we get recognized. So please, guys, if we don't deserve a 10, tell us how. We want to be there for you, but go ahead, give us a 10 if you could. And if not, tell us why.
All right, so what Anthony was talking about, we're gonna hear a lot later after Chris Sullivan and Brent Jones speak. So, that was what a lot of you guys came for, was this part, which was the Janessa. I think Chris Sullivan's next, isn't it?
Yes, Chris is next.
Yep.
And then
So the CRM system and all that is all about the
Money.
one more time, about the
Money.
One more time. We have a lot of those. So thank you, Anthony, so much. This team does about 350 transactions a year. They're dynamic in what they do. We're so excited to have them be part of our group. And I know a lot of them are here today. They bring a lot to the table. The next gentleman that's going to come up. Be a chair. So the next person we're going to have is a good friend of mine. He's, in my opinion, one of the best real estate attorneys in this town. Matter of fact, he comes from a long history. His father was a real estate attorney. His father's father was a real estate attorney. His father's father, no, I'm just kidding. But he does have a history of real estate attorney. He's helped me get out of a lot of jams. So if you got a guy like this in your corner, man, look out, right? But he's going to come up and talk to you. Just about a few things that keep us out of trouble. Everybody, welcome Chris Sullivan.
Can everybody hear me?
Yep.
Thanks for having me, Aaron.
You're welcome.
So my name is Chris Sullivan, and that is an absolutely true statement. So I did grow up in the business. We started in the business here in Las Vegas in 1972, and so I own one of Nevada's oldest real estate brokerages. In addition to being a real estate We've tried every single kind of real estate case you can possibly imagine. You know, like most of you, I started off doing residential real estate. I've now been a licensed realtor. I got my license 35 years ago. That ages me a bit. And then I've been a broker for about 16 years. I have helped a lot of you transition from doing residential and move into the commercial arena. I've also spent a decade teaching the risk reduction graduate program at what used to be GOVAR, and that was hosted by the real estate division. I think I'm the only person in the state that's been authorized by the division to teach the entire program. There's a few different things that I think that we see over and over again. You know, so typically, if I get retained by somebody on a real estate matter that's going to wind up in litigation, there's an agent on the other side, right? And very, very rarely do I wind up suing an agent. But it does occur, it comes up. I like what the other speaker was talking about the importance of constantly becoming more and more educated in the field, because that's what's going to keep you out of trouble. If we're talking about risk reduction, the main things you can do is learn your craft really, really well so that you don't make mistakes, and then offload that risk onto somebody else, and that comes through an insurance policy. So one of the recent cases that I had involved a real estate agent who did a deal, who he was in over his head, and only to find out later that the E&O policy doesn't cover that there was an exclusion in the E&O policy. And so the broker wound up getting sued, the real estate agent wound up getting sued, and I came in and I wound up straightening it all out, but it was a sticky situation that could have been avoided if the real estate agent would have gone to his broker and just said, can you help me with this? Teach me about it. And then also, can I take a look at the E&O policy? You should be afraid to ask for that E&O policy. And then if once you get that E&O policy, run it over to an attorney and have them take a look at it before you venture into uncharted territory. If you're in a situation where you're unsure of what you're doing, you can always give me a call. Some of the biggest issues that we see in real estate right now are because the market's so hot. A lot of you are going out and getting flips. And there's some liability there. Some things that maybe you just don't think about, right? You're thinking like, oh, I'm just gonna buy this house and paint it white. But then as you go, you say, well, let's renovate the kitchen, let's add a bathroom, let's move something around. If you're not getting permitted, you're not getting a structural engineer, an architect, or something like that, you can wind up in hot water as well. I've seen those lawsuits recently. Is there anybody has any questions or anything you want me to talk about? 702.
I told you to put it up there.
610-8012. I just gave you my cell number. Well, call me, but don't call me too late.
What was it?
702-610-8012.
Now, don't get Chris Sullivan confused with your broker, because he doesn't need those calls. That's what you have brokers for. But beyond that, if you get in hot water, or if the broker goes, maybe Chris Sullivan could be a good avenue for you, depending on what you're doing. Yes.
I have a question. So let's say if you're a realtor and you also do some flips, some rentals, would it be better to have an LLC that separates you from your rental business and file those within an LLC and just disclose it, or can I do it feel like a social type?
Yeah, so there's going to be two issues running with that scenario, right? I like the idea of putting the asset into an LLC because it affords a bunch of legal protections. Typically, what I'll do is I'll even increase that level and have like a two-wall protection. And so I'll form an LLC and then I'll have it managed by a trust. And when you record the documents, like title, you never have to record the trust. So they only see the first page of the trust, and nobody knows it's yours. So if you get sued by some creditor, they're never going to find your property. If you're selling that property and you're flipping the property, you're going to have issues as a broker or an agent, because you're going to have to disclose your role. You have to disclose that I have an interest in this property through this LLC. And then all of the disclosures that you would normally make, like if you were a seller, you'd say, well, the dishwasher doesn't really work, the window's cracked. you're held to a hyper standard, right? So you're gonna really have to be thorough in what you're disclosing to other people, or you could wind up on the short end of the stick. There's a big brokerage in town that the two guys that own it went and bought 100 houses, and they flipped them all, and they made a bunch of money, and then the lawsuit started. And they did it all without permits, without licensed contractors. Some of the houses got condemned. And so, we're millions of dollars later, we're into a lawsuit. People literally had to move out of their house. So you just gotta kind of watch out for that stuff. But if you're thinking about purchasing a property and you want to kind of make those protections and understand how to hold it in a certain fashion, let me know. I do that stuff all the time. Anybody else? Aaron?
I don't think you get paid enough to do that, do you? I don't.
I could,
Good.
Typically, people just call me and say, I'll run you through the whole shebang. Anything else?
What's your primary focus as far as what do you normally see, Chris, when it comes to litigation and you as an attorney in real estate? What's your primary business that you focus on and what you like to do and what you get a lot of, clients for?
What I like to do is real estate development. And so I've spent the last 16 years involved in one of the largest master plan developments in America. That's about 10,400 acres. It's roughly half the size of Summer. That's my baby. I love that. But I wind up litigating quite a bit because, like Aaron said, I agree with that. I think that there are maybe one or two other people in the state of Nevada that can give me a run for my money. Normally, when I get a lawsuit, whether I'm representing or prosecuting or defending it, it's a walk in the park for me because of my background, just because of the fact that I grew up in the industry. I taught it for 10 years. I don't really like litigating. I just am good at it, and so I do it. But God, if I could spend my time just doing what I wanted, I'd just be out in the field building. That's where it's at. I see a lot of you getting in trouble for failing to disclose. I see a lot of you getting in trouble for overreaching, not understanding what you're about to go into. I see that happen in the commercial arena a lot. We just had a case where somebody tried to buy a commercial property and used a residential purchase. And so, okay, they accepted it. They understood the material terms, right? Those material terms were like price, location. What they didn't understand was that residential purchase agreement that all of you use has a clause in it that transfers the liability for due diligence back to the buyer. And so when they bought the property thinking they were buying a commercial property, it was not zoned the way that they thought it was supposed to be zoned. They got stuck with it because they used the wrong form. So, I would caution you to be careful with that stuff. If you're gonna venture into something that you're not really sure of, or your broker's not sure, because a lot of brokers just do residential. Let me know. I've done literally everything you can think of. Anybody else? Yeah. Well, the broker is the main target, right? And so you're kind of covered by them because all of the deals are theirs, right? And so what I would tell you to do is get a copy of the E&O insurance, bring it to your lawyer. Because most people read an insurance policy that they don't understand. And I think that's true for even a lot of lawyers. Yeah, would do that. Yeah. No further questions. I get to go home now.
I'll ask one more, Chris. What was the most interesting and challenging litigation real estate situation you've ever experienced?
Gosh, there's so many, but one that comes to mind was a case that Aaron gave me.
I gave him several.
Yeah, it was a good case, but it was a super challenging case because the victim was 84 years old. And so our client, he was selling the house and then realized that this guy was the victim of elder exploitation. He's 84 years old, his wife dies, the guy goes to the grave every single day and sits and reads to her, right? And then some woman approaches 35-ish, starts schmoozing, and the next thing you know, she's on his bank account. She's selling his house. She sold his like all of his possessions. He was 84, he'd been collecting baseball cards since he was a teenager, so he had a whole room of baseball cards. She sold it all. And due to his age, you know, I can't prosecute a case in Nevada. We get 5 years to go to trial. And so he's 84. He might not be around. So I had to ask for an expedited trial setting, which crunches 5 years into 120 days. Now I've got 4 months to do 5 years worth of work. And now it's a challenge. But we nailed it, you know, and we got the guy the bulk of his money back. A lot of the stuff was sold off. The gun collection was sold off. She had a yard sale. She put him in a nursing home. And the next day she had a yard sale sold.
I'm gonna tell you something that even makes it worse. She was a licensed realtor.
I wasn't a broker, right?
No.
You were a broker.
But yeah, we took that one personal, huh?
We did. Yeah, and I just got the same case yesterday, and this guy's 91.
Yeah, we took that one personal for sure. When someone does somebody wrong like that, that's what I love about Chris. Whenever I do bring something to him, the first thing I love when he goes, "That bastard, we're gonna." Just know you got a good attorney when you get that, right?
You'll see things, the same pattern emerges over and over again, especially with the elderly. You'll start to see that there are no purchase agreements, right? It's just a quick claim. Just here, sign this thing over to me and I'll pay you later, or I'll give you some money. You know, sign this power of attorney, and then they just steal everything.
Yeah, she had the trust change in her name,
Trust, power of attorney.
Power of attorney, bank
or his
accounts.
healthcare. Yeah.
everything. And boy, we got her quick.
Jail time?
Well, no, because that's what happens when you take that expedited trial like he was doing from 5 years to 120 days. The main concern was to get her, without telling you too much about it, get the money back, get the properties back, get her off this trust, get her off the statements with saying that you're gonna prosecute her, right? So when she cooperated with all that, you kind of let her off the hook because she cooperated, right, to some degree?
Yeah, but she cooperated after like a big, huge fight, because she got criminal defense attorneys, and they were all looking at keeping her out of jail. You know, and so then I had the state, I had the Metro involved, I had the Attorney General involved.
Right.
Yeah, it was a nightmare.
And because of his age, I mean, is it really gonna benefit him dragging it out for 5 years? The guy had dementia, the guy had, you know, and his family needed money to take care of him. So we did what we had to do. Chris got it done like really quick, got a great result. Did he lose a lot of money? Yes, he did. But man, she'll get hers at the end, right?
Yes.
Oh, yeah. She will.
You know, the one thing I can tell you, a lot of times what will happen, if you guys run into us in a sticky situation, if you get to me early, I can fix it. You know, I can, usually we're able to avoid litigation. I am of the opinion that if I have to go litigate, I'm already losing, right? It's a loser game. There's always a way to talk your way out of it, or negotiate your way out of it, or just make amends and do the right thing and fix it, right? And so don't be afraid to just reach out for some help in that regard. I don't know. And then the other thing I'll tell you is this: if I don't think I'm going to win, I won't take a case because I have a big ego and I don't like losing. But I don't want to waste your money, and I'm not a hired gun. I'm not going to just hurt somebody else for a few bucks. Right? Got a question?
One more question?
Back there.
One more.
Have you been studying crypto, and have you done anything with the crypto and real estate yet, or in that area?
And you know, I'm so afraid of crypto. You know, my friends are doing it, and it's a roller coaster. One minute they're rich, the next minute they're poor. I stay away from it.
Ask JT, he'll tell you.
Yeah.
Water conservation easements, if it wasn't disclosed by the seller on the escrow, so of course it was on the preliminary title report, and it said conservation easement, so it was missed, because we realized it was from water conservation.
Yeah.
What's your opinion on that? Because now they're pushing back, the seller saying we bought it in the pre-list, but it's never still in the SRPD, so we should return.
I guess to me, is it material? Right?
Well, they want to be able to pull it or something like that.
That's material. Yeah, and if that was disclosed beforehand, then that's material. So that might be a problem.
So it wasn't. Like they're trying to push back, saying, well, you should have.
No, I mean, if the fact that they wanted to put the pool in was important at the time that they were purchased, right? So like, for example, if you went to somebody and said, you know, I really want to put in an auto body shop right here, and they know now that they're on blast that this is what my intention is. If you don't disclose that it can't be done years later, could be a problem. Okay.
And we actually moved back to and we can say cash first that, but it's a key.
Right.
And so what we did was deliver that. But they did end up being at their agent, we talked to their broker. And it did work out.
It was split.
That's just a negotiation.
Can you reverse just like, say for the backyard and not the front yard?
I don't think so.
Have they sought counsel yet? Let me know about that. Anybody else? Thank you guys so much.
Okay, the next person on the agenda, you guys having a good time? Buddy? One more hour is gonna be great, the next hour, the next guy, Greg Jones, a good friend of mine, taking the best appraiser in town. Yes, why? Because he'll help you. He encourages questions when he's out there. He loves when agents call him and say, help me with this, the value gonna come in. He doesn't mind if you show up, at least not all the time. Anyways, everybody welcome Brett Jones.
I'm a loud talker anyhow. Good afternoon. Come on, we are in the hottest real estate market in the country. Good afternoon. Got it. I have a couple of goals. Everybody should have goals. I'm going to ask you a question first. When an appraisal comes in at value, you say, yay. When an appraisal comes in low, you're worried about your. I'm done. I did everything I'm supposed to do. You know what? I couldn't have asked for a better setup with that. How many of you had an appraisal come in low in the last 30 days? How many of you wish that appraisers weren't a part of the deal at all?
How you guys suck.
I thought this was a friendly group. So I'm just going to tell you a couple things. Okay, a couple things what's going on in the appraisal world. We're going to talk about why we're seeing appraisals come in low, because that's all anybody cares about, right? Why are they coming in low? Other than somebody overbidding because they've lost 4 offers and their wife hates them. Right? Anybody have that? Who's had buyers? How many offers? What's the most? 5? Not been accepted? 10? Horrible. So, no question will be unanswered here. Okay? If we don't have enough time, I'm going to hang around after. I'll be more than happy to answer any particular questions you have. Hopefully, we can get enough Q&A here to cover most of them. Because I know Paul May is going to ask me about solar.
Yeah, right.
Right? I don't even want to talk about that. I can't even say that. I go, solar. I hate that.
It's
All
a
right.
mystery, Brett.
What's that?
It's a mystery.
It's a mystery. All right. So the number one reason I see homes and appraisals coming in low is because it's not the right house. Believe it or not, how many of you know that at the county assessor website, there's you go to the tab, real property, building sketches, and you can get about 98% of the floor plans online. How many of you knew that? Now you all know it. Do not make an offer on a property. Do not take a listing without having that information. You know why? Because the builders came in and they told the county they were going to build this floor plan on this lot. And the buyers came in and said, God, we really like this floor plan over here. Can we put it on that lot? And guess what? They did it. Always check
that you've got the right house. I had a case where 3 months ago, the lady had paid cash, no appraisal. She decided she didn't like Las Vegas. Can you imagine? She goes, I'm getting the hell out of here. Goes to sell her house. We come in and appraise it. We're 400 square feet difference on a 2,000 square foot house. You guys want to know what that was like? I had to go back out and actually measure the house in front of everybody in the transaction. And I would guess who the most angry person was? Hated me. Hated the whole deal. And ended up, they settled about 35,000 below contract. So, first thing, that's the first thing. The second thing, when you go under contract, what's the first thing you should do? You run another CMA. You check your comps. You make sure nothing has changed. Because that new comp that just came rolling in that you thought was pending at 400 and now sold for 385, guess what? That's the new comp. So you better have an answer for the appraiser. So while I'm on that, how many of you meet the appraiser of the property? How many of you talk to him? Okay, good. All right. How many of you leave your seller alone with the appraiser? Don't do it. They're going to tell us about the mold. They're going to tell us about the pool table. They have all these memories that are going to go with the buyer. Okay? Manage the seller. Okay? So, all of a sudden, I had a deal in Seven Hills. Lady's so nice. Really working the event. She must have got coached. You coach it. If you're not going to be there, do you coach your seller? You know, just let them do it. So this was a milk and cookies routine. Okay? She goes, look, I have to be so honest with you. The home fell out. Before I said, well, okay. She goes, we have a sex offender on the street. I swear to you, I can't make this up. All right. So manage your seller. So we got the house being wrong. You pulled new comps. Okay. Make sure when you pull comps, the biggest mistake you can make is if you have a 2-story home, what are you going to comp it against? Not that 1 story in Del Webb, Sun City. Okay, think like for like, think common sense. Okay, what you do and what we do should be the same thing. Okay, you have a much tougher audience. You have a seller who, what I like to call, been Zillowed, right? How many of your buyers or sellers already have an idea of their house? Everybody knows everything now, right? You know what? I walk into a house on a refi transaction. Well, Zillow says this, and I think it's low, right? They always think it's low, buy a house like this. So everybody has this expectation. You have a much tougher job setting it than I do with trying to convince, or maybe not, convincing an underwriter that we're not in on the deal. Okay? This is too high. So as appraisers, we actually get scored on every appraisal we do by Freddie Mac, Fannie Mae, or HUD. And in HUD's case and VA's case, that appraisal actually goes to an appraisal reviewer. But they're professionals. Okay? You do it, and you're with a seller who's emotionally vested. Okay? So when you pull comps, use common sense. And one of the questions I get when I do these is, well, how do you pull comps? What do you do? And it's different depending on the market. If you've got a market that's increasing rapidly, I want to make sure that I've got comps that sold yesterday or today. Okay, so the faster the market's rising, the farther out we will go. My goal is to find 3 comps. That's all I got to do. I got to find 3 sales and 1 listing. So that's your job. Okay, so think of your buyer. They got a 2,000. They want a 2,000 square foot house. I'm gonna look at comps from say 1,700 to 2,300 square feet. Right, one story versus one story, two versus two, manufactured versus manufactured, condo, town. Don't mix them up unless you don't have anything, okay? So in your comp selection, think about what is a viable alternative for that buyer. Now, when I talk about spreading proximity out, that doesn't mean going from a pocket neighborhood and then dropping into Summerlin. Okay, I mean, one of the biggest value issues I've seen were homes that were east of Wallapai, and the agent said, "Oh, I'm going to use all Summerlin homes." Okay, they've been $115,000 low on an $800,000 transaction. So, Aaron Taylor, one of the, how do I say this? One of the most inspiring people that I've had a chance to work with, and one of the most gracious when a deal doesn't come in low. All right? How many of you have had to fight an appraisal? How many of you have had any success? Of course, Gary. Right? It was me, but did I come in low? Okay, good. Yeah, no, listen, it's hard now. This is as hard. I've been doing this for 32 years. This is the absolute hardest time we've had in a market. Oh, was it 2008? I came in low. Good, feeling good. Call me the appraisal angel. All right. Good question, please.
When it comes to finding homes, one of the big things is whether or not you may have the same neighborhood and one has full residents to the top. Otherwise,
Right. So my goal will be to find a pool comp. I don't want to make any adjustments. Okay. I will go outside of the normal realm to find a pool comp, or if I've got large acreage, I will go out to find that larger acreage. Okay, does that make sense? Because what we'll find out is once we see the premium on the pool comp, then we're able to adjust up the ones that don't have. And we have to prove everything. Now, in the old days, we used to be able to go up plus 50,000, market's going up. Just anything for not having anybody call. You know why appraisers don't want to come in low, right? I don't want you to read my report. Because what happens the minute things come in low? I need to see that report. Listing agent. I've been doing this 30 years. Appraiser was out there 2 minutes. Yeah, right? How many of you guys think we just breeze in and breeze out, right? Hey. Yeah, geez. Yeah, got to make a buck. It's a volume business, right? Okay. So, yeah, Bart.
2 questions. So one is, how far out do you typically go? Because you have to go a little further out these days, you need to get a pre-comp, right?
Right.
And then the other question is, do you ever use under contract comps, so they're not closed yet, but they're getting ready to close?
No, and usually that's what we usually see in a reconsideration of value. If you're going to do a reconsideration of value, have your lender coach you on what to give us. We just can use closed sales before the transaction. In terms of going out distance-wise, Bart, we just don't want to hop into master plans when we're not in there. We'll go wide and far in Summerlin or Mountain's Edge if we're going to try and find that same animal. And in a lot of these subdivisions, you have stuff that was built in 2006, and you have stuff that's built in 2017. Stay in your age range, okay? Because architecturally, obviously, they're much superior homes. Those were built in 2017. Good question. How many of you know what the inventory was today? I was the only one who answered the question. Does anybody look and see what the market's doing? The best indicator to not get your hats handed to you like I did in 2008, watch the market, okay? Go on, I draw a circle right from the circle. I put it in Harmon Avenue, and I go out 20 miles, and I'll include Boulder City, and I'll try to get all the valley, and I'll look at what the listing numbers are. Right now, they're up to about 3,200. That's gone up somewhat. How many sales did we have last month? All asset classes. You guys should know this. You should know this for your clients. 3,600 and some change. What's that tell you? This market's still on fire. I mean, we're under a supply. And while if you have a listing, you might have seen the number of multiple offers going down. Guess what? It's still strong. Okay, so this market, I mean, everybody hears about interest rates going up. Let me tell you what, there's buyers out there. They're just getting, Jeremy can't wait to refi, right? Even if they're 5%, because what goes up must come down. So always remember when you're sitting at the table, taking the listing, and you show your seller the comps, factor in the closing costs that were paid by the seller of that home. So, for instance, a $300,000 home to an appraiser as a comp, if it got $8,000 in closing cost assistance, that's now at $292,000. Factor it in, conventional, a lot of times we don't have to make that adjustment. FHA, VA, a lot of times they'll go dollar for dollar. So when you see the appraisal coming 3,000 low, what do you guys think? Appraiser's an idiot. He's not that good. Chances are what he did is he tried to make up for some of those closing costs. Okay, does that make sense, everybody?
Do you use trade sales?
What's that?
On an appraisal, do you avoid them or do you the trade sales? I've seen them a lot.
The trade.
Yeah, like trading a sale or something, like adding.
Yeah, you know what, if it's not arm's length, if it's not something we can verify, then we're gonna stay away from it. It's a good question. So how much time do we have?
Ask Janessa.
14 minutes. What else? What do you guys want to know about? Go ahead.
I want to know, what if you come across a home that, on the tax record, it might have 3 bedrooms, but they added on with or without a permit. If the permit, if they had full permit, but never got it,
Final.
Yeah, final, not on the tax record, or if they haven't full permit, what do you see there?
Do you guys ever watch the Seinfeld episode with the soup Nazi?
Oh, yeah.
No permits, no value. Yeah. All right, what else? That's a great question. Oh, what about the solar?
What about the solar?
All right, first off, the solar guys who are out there selling these people will tell them anything, right? They're going to sell that solar. Value going right up, no problem. If it's leased or financed or payments being made, once again, no value. All right? It just doesn't add any value. And I'll tell you, a lot of times, even if you have owned solar free and clear, a lot of appraisers still will not make that adjustment because now we need to be able to prove that there were owned solar comps that added a premium. So when you're talking to your seller and he's got an array of solar that he paid 30 grand for, and he's got 7,500 tax credits, and he thinks it's worth 30 grand or 20 grand, what you need to tell them is, look, we have an owned solar field in our MLS, and I've got to look for owned solar comps, and while it does add value, we're just going to kind of include it into your options and think of it as an upgrade. Does that make sense? For me to do I'm going to try and find an owned solar comp, and sometimes I will actually even go out of the neighborhood and we know some comps that have sold where we can see what that premium is. But all in all, you know what? Don't figure more than $10,000 for that solar. Okay, it's one of those adjustments that underwriters aren't comfortable with, appraisers aren't comfortable with, because we really can't prove it.
And one solar over the other, that's the other question.
Yeah,
I know some of them are very cheap.
all solar is not created equal, plus they depreciate. This sun here is not friendly on our skin and on our roofs. Okay, good question. What else?
Where did you say you could get the floor plans again?
Floor plans, you go to the Clark County Assessor, you go to the real property, hit building sketches, and just copy and paste the parcel number from the MLS. And sometimes it doesn't copy the last number, so just write it down, put it in, and the building sketch will come in. Okay, it's a great tool, guys. If you don't, I mean, we use it, when you ask why the appraiser's only there for 5 minutes, because I can promise you the appraiser's already pulled that. Because I want to see right away if we're dealing with the right house, especially older homes where there's been conversions, that everybody has been living there for 20 some years, and then now, guess what, voila, it's still a garage. Yeah.
How do you do basements?
You put her up to that?
No.
Basement?
Next thing she's gonna ask about casitas and really piss you off.
You know what? It's good to be me, and I'm having. All right. Let's talk about, we can talk about basements and casitas in the same sentence.
And like a really beautiful she shed.
I'm sorry.
A she shed.
A she shed.
Yes. How much value, like value.
If I have another comp with a she shed, I'll give it value. I know it's tough. All right, so basements, casitas, don't group the square footage in when you pull your comps. The 2,000 square foot living area home with a 2,000 square foot basement is not the same in the appraiser's eyes as a 4,000 square foot home. Okay, we will make an adjustment for those areas that are incremental to what your overall price per square foot is. Okay, one of the things I see when everybody's pricing properties is that they average sales prices, right? That's what you're told, right? Average sales prices, we get an average sales price per square foot, and we're going to apply it to that comp. Realize that when we make a livable area adjustment, we're compartmentalizing the property. We're not including the lot. We're not including the garage. We're not including that it's got bedrooms. We're not including that it's got concrete block fencing or hardscapes, landscapes, any of that. It's just the livable area. So it's a fractional amount. So if we have a 2,500 square foot subject home, and you're going to use a 2,200 square foot comp, and the neighborhood's selling for $250 a foot, you're not going to take that 300 square feet and multiply by 250. Okay, you're going to take a fractional amount. It's usually around, we try and test for 30 to 40%. So we may adjust $70 to $80 a foot. Okay, so always think of it as fractional, incremental. Think about it as a standalone adjustment, not one where we're going to take that 1,200 square foot one story that sold at $275 a foot and apply it to that 2,500 square foot home. That's another reason we see where properties get completely mispriced. Yeah.
When you may have a model match and then you've got all the numbers that are out there and you have also you got, you know, nice shiny, but it's not what my next one is.
So that's really one of the most subjective adjustments we have to make, because there's no hard data as to, you know, the level. I mean, not all renovations are created equal. So we're going to try and find that flip comp. Okay, so we don't have to try and figure out what that adjustment is. But if we do, I basically say, all right, I got two houses. I got one that hasn't been done. I got one that's got all these upgrades. How much more am I going to pay for that? What's my time going to be worth? What's my money going to be worth? You have to really do a common sense approach to it. Okay, so if they put in 50,000, what's that? It depreciate. It all depends on what you put it in. If you put it in the bathrooms and the kitchens and the paint, the flooring, and you did curb appeal, you got to take care. It's going to recapture more than the silly improvements. Which, you know what? I mean, sellers will do anything, right? So do they. So, what else? What other questions? You know, it's really hard to give you a because it all depends. It's going to be different in an $800,000 home than it is in a $300,000. So the key is staying consistent with the neighborhood. Okay, so whatever improvements are, if there are other houses that have been doing it, and that goes with adding square footage, and that goes with going up in a one-story neighborhood. Those are the kind of things that you would think about. Good question. All right. Go ahead.
So I've heard various things about what makes a bedroom. It has to have a window, a closet, a door. Is that true, all three, or no? I've heard different things. What is the right answer?
Closet,
So the window doesn't have to have a window.
not a pair. But that's me.
Ah, really?
You can never answer for your peers.
Interesting.
Yeah, good question. So guys, I'm gonna close up right here. I want you guys to see one of the things we're working on. So I own an appraisal management company. One of the jobs we do in the appraisal management company is we quality control all the appraisals that are coming in. My QC provider is a company named Ontario, and what they have done is they have created a computer model CMA, which means you would be able to pick your own comps, put it into the secret sauce, and all the adjustments that can be proven will show up for you, creating a range, much like an appraiser gets. So go ahead and play the video. Please. Amen. So out of this group, we would love to have 20 or 25 of you be our initial group of beta testers. We're going to be up and running, depending on the programmers, probably by the end of next month. So my phone number, if anybody is interested in becoming a beta tester, is 702-591-7245. And also put my number in your phone. If you have any questions, any quick questions, I spent 5 years with Fannie Mae. There's no question that won't take me too long to answer. EXP and Spencer have been super supportive of me, as Aaron and his group, Paul May. Anything I can do to help you get more business, I'm all in. Okay? All right, thanks, guys.
Phone number again.
Phone number one more time, Brent.
Oh, no, one more time.
They're still working on the pricing. It's probably going to be a $25 a month product, unlimited use, up to 25 or 30. Then they'll charge you afterwards. There'll be different ways to use this. You could use it to prospect. Somebody says, "Oh, what's my house rent?" Go here. Let me do this. It's a very, very intuitive program. It was actually developed for appraisers for Freddie Mac. And so when I saw it, I said, "Listen, if we can make this simple enough, it will be one of the most interactive, impressive listing presentations you could make on your iPad, on your laptop, and really you can answer every question once you see how all the adjustments pan out." Great question. All right, guys, thanks again. 702-591-7245. Do not call me the appraisal guy.
Yeah, please don't.